Hello, and welcome to the first game of the second stream of the night, that being Paragon 5 versus ReBrand. And I'm going to be casting this game with Coyote. How are you doing tonight, Coyote?
I am great. How are you?
I'm doing as best as I could possibly be doing.
I unmuted halfway through your introduction because I was testing my mic, so I apologize.
Oh no, that's all good. It's not important. But what is important are these bands that are already starting out. So what do you think about some of these bands coming out already?
So I have no idea what really either team plays, but I think target banning the support of Paragon 5 is a bad choice, unless they plan on picking something like a Zoe or Lysandra in the mid lane, because that's the only reason you would deny Tom Kench over to the other team. And then I know Leek, is it Leek that really likes his fiddlesticks?
Yeah,
So
it is indeed. Yeah.
And then Tokushiro really likes his zoning Sejuani ultimates, so I understand that. I don't see a point in banning Kha'Zix when there's champions like Karthus still open.
It's understandable, but I mean, otherwise, I guess ReBrand is looking to really focus the priority picks of their bot lane, picking up the Jhin and Thresh already, and it looks like McTrump's going to go for the Ezreal, something that he's pretty well versed on. I think he's shown a good amount of skill in the SFL with it, so we'll see what other picks that Paragon 5 look to pick up with it. I'd like to see what bot lane they go pick against Jhin Thresh.
I sort of expect to see... I want to be careful saying this, but I expect Bezel to either... I think Bezel's going to pick his Zoe here. He really likes that champion. And it also would make sense as to why they banned Tom Kench, unless Toxican picks it away, in which case I would expect him to pick a Lysandra. But even though it's a losing matchup, it's not a big deal.
It's still the amount of utility that certain picks can provide, and I guess that Paragon 5, they're looking to go with a very heavy poke lane down in the bot lane, picking up that Zyra for the support for Nova there.
Please don't go Zed. Okay. I feel like that's Vladimir top. I don't think that's a Bezel Vlad mid.
Really?
No.
Okay.
I don't think he plays that champion much, and if they bait the Zoe ban here, then it's not that big of a deal. And Jace getting banned. Depending on what you plan on going top lane, there's no need to ban out Jace. He has a lot of poke, which I understand why you want to ban it out, because they're seemingly going for a poke comp plus Jarvan engage with Zyra ult, but I guess completely a necessity, as well as banning out Lee Sin. I guess I just don't see what teams are going for here.
It may be a little hard to read, but you see ReBrand wanting to take out both solo laners, and it looks like that Paragon 5 is really wanting to focus Tokushiro and take away as many champions as they possibly can from his jungle pool and see what he can resort to. But as far as you know, you think maybe that's a Shivarang Jarvan in the jungle, or do you think that's
Definitely.
going? Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's a Jarvan jungle, in which case I'd like to see an Elise counter pick coming out from Tokushiro to get more tempo in the early game, really propel the Vladimir and Jhin to get them past it. Because if you don't, then Ezreal gets his Iceborne Gauntlet, and then he can't be killed bot lane, and then you lose kill pressure in a lane. But it appears they have a completely different plan, going Skarner.
Yeah, no, I guess as if you take off as many junglers as possible, he's still gonna find something.
No, don't.
And yeah, that's gonna be a Silas locked in for Paragon 5. I'm assuming with a Nico being hover, that's probably top lane. So maybe we'll see. I don't know how traditional of a build traditional Silas build is. If we're talking the more common being just flat AP damage, but maybe we see a tanked Silas, something with Iceborne or something like that. So it'll be interesting. I think this is probably one of the first Silases we've seen in SFL.
I'm a fan of Silas as a champion in concept, but I don't think picking it against that team is the best idea. Since it is a top lane Silas, and then LeBlanc not counter pick, but LeBlanc pick coming out. I think Paragon 5 definitely has an advantage in terms of AoE damage and whatnot, and I think you're going to look for ReBrand trying to establish a split push more than anything this game. I think if ReBrand does try to fight in the straight up 5v5, they'll just lose. Whereas if you have the Skarner sit around mid and then go and gank the Vlad in a side lane, you get complete advantage. You can look for plays that way, especially with the Thresh looking for picks as well. You can't get in extended fights against the team that Paragon 5 has.
It's completely understandable, and I think for the most part, with really only taking away one mid laner from Bezel, I think seeing a LeBlanc pick is kind of expected. You know, something that he's picked time and time again. And I say this as someone that absolutely loves Bezelheim, but sometimes it can be an absolute 1v9 on his part, and he'll take over the entire game, and others maybe not so much. So I want to see how he actually is able to face off against Toxican, and then meanwhile, two popular bot lanes for from both teams being Zyzo, Leak, and McTrump and Nova. So it'll be interesting to see how those two match up. I think a lot of communication is going to play a huge part down there in the bot lane, and what Tokushiro is going to do something, or what he's going to do rather, with something as strange as Skarner. So it'll we're seeing I'd still say it's a pretty even match. Yeah, unique picks, I guess, but just based off the 10 picks we see right now, and just for this first game, not the entire series, just this first game, who do you think's gonna come out on top of this one?
I find it very difficult for ReBrand to try and find an opening against the Paragon 5 team, and if they do, there's plenty ways for Paragon 5 to set up fight, no matter the numbers, to be in their advantage. So I find it hard for ReBrand to pull this win off. There is a very strange way, if you're desperate enough, you could pull off a 1-3-1 if you get ahead enough early, but I think that gets sort of denied by the bot lane, and as well as having a champion that can point and click W and get healed for 400 health immediately. Sorry. Yep. I think the game goes to Paragon 5. I think Paragon 5, I'm excited to see them play because they seem to be a very good team in terms of cohesion and whatnot, and I think this team will let us know how good they are playing around the Ezreal and seeing how he plays, not levels 1 through 8 in lane, but outside of lane, because if you can dodge the hooks and get his Iceborne, I believe they win. If he dies pre-Iceborne, I think the game becomes very difficult, especially if the Vladimir can ramp up faster than the Silas, because I just think it's a hard lane for Silas to play in. I guess, yeah.
Is that how his name's pronounced? Silas?
You can say Silas, Silas, however you want.
Okay, well, either way,
Dog champion.
Yeah, I think both teams, either way, should probably pick up some sort of grievous wounds, because again, as you mentioned, the amount of healing comes out of Silas, and obviously Vladimir, it's no mystery to him how much he is able to sustain and prolong team fights. So getting something like that is probably going to be a pretty high priority, and as you said, it's going to depend on how fast McTrump is able to get a Sheen item, assuming it's going to be that Iceborne Gauntlet. And again, just about every game I've seen McTrump in, even if he's losing, I've never seen him be the reason for the loss, I guess. And he performs so very well on it, and especially with things that are looking to dive onto him, get very far back or into the back line like Skarner and whatnot. I think he's actually, the type of player that can position well enough against threats like that. And I think if you don't absolutely blow him up with the likes of a LeBlanc or Vladimir, and he actually does manage to get away in some way, shape, or form, I think he can run away with it. But then on the alternate side, again, I'm interested to see how Leak and Zyzo are going to do in the bot lane, and picking something like Jhin Thresh, that's a lot of kill pressure early on, so I'm really hoping that it can actually translate in some early plays.
I firmly expect Bezel to either go 10-0 or 0-10 this game, and that will decide the game completely.
Well, isn't that always Bezelheim, though? Isn't that for the most part, it's either he is one of those two?
Pretty safe bet, yeah.
And then, see, in times where I see him, and the times where he does go 0-10, he'll randomly just become 10-10 out of nowhere again. So, like, even if he feeds his ass off, he'll come back somehow.
I imagine the best bet for ReBrand is to actually ult the Zyra before she even gets her ulti off. I think ulting the Ezreal is net negative.
Really?
Because you ult the Ezreal, and you still have a Nico, Zyra, Jarvan ulting on top of your team, and you're just going to die while you focus down an Ezreal with 140 armor. So you have to rely on LeBlanc and Vladimir to explode the Ezreal, and it just won't work, and you'll be dead at that point. Especially when the Silas can steal Vlad's alt-T and get even more AoE for some godforsaken reason.
It was a good point of you to mention the amount of circular AoE that the Paragon 5 team does have with this. You know, as you said, Zyra, Nico, Jarvan, if they actually trap everyone inside that Cataclysm, and then God forbid a true shot barrage comes in and anything, whatever Silas decides to steal, it's completely up to him, I suppose. It doesn't have to be the Vlad or anything like that. But in these team fights, it's going to be a pretty explosive a combination if Paragon 5 are actually able to pull it off. But we'll see if ReBrand are actually able to telegraph that, if they're actually able to see stuff like that coming ahead of time, and be able to prevent that for the most part.
I'm also curious to see if this is a Spell Thief's Ezreal, like we see over in Korea recently, or if it's just a regular Kleptomancy bot lane Ezreal. And it's just a regular Ezreal.
Yeah. I've been wanting to see that, and again, just more of that, just to, the ebb and flow of, how you can actually not CS and still manage to grant yourself a good enough gold lead, and even not just gold, but a gold lead over your opponent, not having to take that CS. So, especially if you are combining it with, a double Spell Thief spot lane and whatnot, and as you said, the Kleptomancy on top of that just brings in so much gold. And already so far, we're actually seeing ReBrand try to go for a sneaky little 5-man invade, and McTrump and Nova are looking to be the first targets. Luke Hook does go a little bit wide, though, not quite going to find anything. Bezel's just going to get one auto in before making their way out of there, but they get some deep vision down in that Pixel ward, but besides that, that's about it.
Yeah, but that ward, it's a ward coming out from Thresh, which makes him susceptible to an early gank, like level, maybe let's say 3 from the Jarvan coming down from River. So I would like to see the Jarvan actually start blue buff and make the way down level 3 for a gank instead of starting red buff and pathing topside, knowing that they do have a ward down bot. That doesn't appear he's going to be doing that unless he does go possibly red into Raptors, into Scuttle, into bot, which is a definite possibility.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where these junglers do decide to path to, which lanes they're going to prioritize, and both junglers are starting to seem, or it seems like they're starting bot side, so we'll see where that ends up leading them. And as we mentioned with the bot lane there, I really do think it would behoove Tokashiro to be able to try to apply some pressure with that Jhin and Thresh, as you said, before Ezreal's able to finish off his Iceborne Gauntlet. Even if it's just focusing down the Zyra, it's good enough, really.
Interesting note is in top river. Just a little trade going down. Silas Vlad. Silas winning it with Grasp, actually, not Comet for the poke against Vlad. In top river, you'll see that Vlad actually put a ward down, but Silas, I believe, or someone else used Ghost Poro instead. So there is a ward advantage. Oh, it's actually in the mid lane. Sorry, ward advantage in the mid lane.
And we're already seeing per se QQ, and the Silas top is already applying so much pressure, and Zyzo going for the 4-shot on McTrump. It's going to send him to a little bit below half health, and it's going to arcane shift away before anything else happens. Lee goes a little bit wide with that hook, and Trump flashes away, anticipating that he actually would land it, so that is going to be a summoner spell burned for Paragon 5 there.
Yeah, that is the cue for Skarner to go bot and sit bot as soon as possible. Really, nothing else that needs to be said. As long as Ezreal flashes down, Skarner needs to be in that bot lane.
Absolutely. If there's any time to punish it, it's now, right?
Unless he uses it again.
Alright, fair enough, I suppose. And we're seeing both Klein and per se QQ up on the top side. Both of them getting very low, but Klein definitely being on the lower side of that, and he's trying to sustain the best he can, but at this point, Silas with the Corrupting Potion is seeing to push this Vlad in a little bit and start to make Klein sweat.
Yeah, with Silas having an AoE passive AoE Q, he's just going to be able to push the Vlad in, and if he isn't confident enough on the champion, he won't be able to farm under tower, and you'll see just a lead slowly build onto the Silas.
It's understandable. We were seeing there in the mid lane, both Bezelheim and Toxican going back and forth, and Bezel had to back out just a little bit before...
I hope Jarvan doesn't stand on the Skarner. No!
Oh, yeah, Jarvan is actually going to be... revealing himself by doing that, and it's going to be a pretty easy tell for Zyzo and Leek to back up a little bit, make sure nothing too crazy happens. You see the ping down there in the bush and make sure they're not getting Divin.
Dove,
yeah. Absolutely right. What's a pronoun, by the way?
See, I don't actually know that. I think it's like a I or something along those lines.
Close, I suppose.
Actually, if I go to Discord, I can tell you.
That's up to interpretation, and up to interpretation is going to be Bezel going for a solo kill on Toxicant. Both mid laners popping their ignites, and that's actually going to be a first blood over to Toxicant, actually turning down the Nico versus Bezelheim's LeBlanc.
Bezel there, I believe, actually had the ability to flash out of auto attack range to reset Nico's auto attack, and if he did so, I believe he could have won that by just walking back in and queuing. Unfortunate loss coming down.
Yeah, meanwhile, on the top side, we do see Tokashiro trying to see if he can finish the Silas off, get a little stun, but otherwise Leek is going to be able to hook McTrump and maybe sleeping a little bit. Nothing's going to come of it, but
oh, that curved around the minion.
Yeah, curving around the, you know, a lot of hitboxes in these games nowadays. I swear to God, it's something else.
If that was LCS, this game's being remade.
Oh, of course, yeah. Oh, yeah, Chrono Shift, 100%. Everyone's having to sit there for 20 minutes. We have to get this game back going up. But
oh, stupid.
Yeah, we sadly don't have those resources. We just got to deal with the buggy game that is in its 2019 state of almost being 10 years old.
Yeah, and if you do look top lane, you see an 11 CS lead already building on the Silas. He did push Vlad under tower for like maybe 2.5 waves and apply pressure. So even though Skarner tried to relieve some pressure, Vlad is still far enough behind, unless he can start poking out Silas in lane right here, which he should. He actually has the capability of killing if he just balances the wave right and gets 6.
We're seeing that the Silas was able to steal the Vladimir ult, and Klein's looking to back up a little bit, knowing the terrifying potential of Silas. Doesn't even matter how low he is, just the amount of sustain he has if he's below that certain threshold. It's absolutely crazy. It's so very hard to be able to trade with such a champion. Yeah, both top laners do have their ultimates available, and again, Per Se is looking to keep himself low, so he's able to heal up as much as he possibly can.
Also, if you do look at the bot side, red team is opting for deep vision, trying to see jungle entrances of where Jarvan is going and pathing the bot side, as well as blue is going for it.
And here comes yet another root coming out from both Leek and Zyzo. Lancer's going to try to get him in range a little bit, and he is going to take it, but right into the face of Shararang is going to result in just enough damage going to come down. Nova picking up the kill into Zyzo. A good root is also going to land on a Thresh, but not having the flag and drag available isn't going to result in a second kill, but that is going to be the second kill overall for Paragon 5.
I feel like that was a misclick coming out of Zyzo. I don't think he actually intended to take the Lantern.
I don't think he did either. Yeah, no, 100%.
Because that was a really good initial trade. Jhin and Thresh getting a good amount of damage onto the Ezreal, with Jarvan stealing the blue there. Unlucky. Toku can't take this trade with Jhin not being there. They die if they continue.
They're going to continue with Bezelheim coming down, and ooh, Flag Drag is going to get canceled by Leek's Flay there, and that's why Leek so much priority put on those Thresh bans in those games. That's all he has to do, waiting for that Flag and Drag, and you know, swoops up that kill. So that's actually going to be the first kill for ReBrand as they try to pick up their lead back in this game.
Still 1.5k gold behind. Unfortunate. The good thing there, though, is 3 champions do get kill credit, but the kill credit does go over to Thresh solely. A little unlucky, but yeah, yeah, nothing.
Yeah, no, Tokashiro's going to try to make the presence he can there, but without having that level 6 to be able to abduct away a laner, you know, he's not really able to set up as much as he can. Bezel could, you know, as much as you are able to, you know, try to distortion in, land the ethereal chains and whatnot, you know, you're not going to see a lot of damage coming out from the Skarner himself. So it's almost like he's, you know, he's a stun bot, and then really, besides that, he's not there unless he's actually dragging someone back.
Really interesting note is Skarner showed mid, and I believe Bezel, yep, Skarner showed mid, and Silas knows he's pathing topside, going to his red. Him staying pushed like this puts him into such a bad position. I expect to see Silas at least back up in the next 30 seconds and let wave reset, or just get a ward down. Yeah,
he's got a, you know, very, very dark there in the river there. We see him walking down and see if he can get some vision there, or even catch out the Skarner as he suspect him there in the river, and does lay down a ward and prevent whatever gank may have happened up there. But as you said, you know, being up that far and having the wave in that position, you know, you're so very susceptible to ganks and could very easily get punished. Now that we see that Skarner is both level 6 and does have his Predator available, it's actually going to be popped now, and 9 Lion Klein is going to see how fast he can speed towards him with this pool. He's going to flash away, but that's going to be an ult from Tokushiro. Not even pulling him away, just keeping him stood still. Stunning him up, and that's actually going to be 350 gold over to 9 Lion Klein there. That's actually going to be now making the game even in terms of kills, 2-2.
And it does appear to be the full AP Silas going for the Hextech Proto Belt first item. I actually haven't seen that. That also has a level advantage, but no mana here, so he'll just back out. Yep. This is bothersome watching Ezreal play up so early, like this, and he's leaving himself so susceptible to ganks. I would like to see Skarner eventually punish that, now that Vlad should have an even lane top lane after struggling early, but...
Yeah, I'm really surprised that that Trump with his flash down for, that solid 5 minutes, that, it just didn't get punished whatsoever. So, we did see Tokushiro, he was able to pull off a gank there in the top lane, he was able to take out per se QQ, but now, hopefully, we maybe see him, try to apply some pressure on the bot side of the map. We see him walking down now, and as you said, both Nova and Trump are just so far in this positioning the lane right here, going so very aggressive. And speaking of aggression, per se QQ going back on a Klein. No strangers, and back in the bot lane, actually. Box is going to land on a Nova, getting very low. The Ignite's ticking on him, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough.
Yep, there comes the Jhin ulti.
Here comes the Jhin ultimate. Curtain Call is going to see what he can find. Second shot, third shot. McTrump sends back an ult of his own. Fourth shot is going to hit Ezreal, but to no avail. Does manage to land the Essence Flux and the Mystic shot on Tokushiro, who's trying to come in, but otherwise nothing's going to happen there in the bot lane. A lot of action, but no results.
Interesting. So after the kill top lane, Vlad actually has a gold advantage against Silas, but there's a gold deficit in everyone on ReBrand's team, aside from the support, which Thresh has an advantage in. And it's 2-2. Well, they are going to get a dragon here. I don't think they should have actually gotten the dragon. It's an ocean dragon. You reset it for the enemy team, and there's the possibility of it just getting better for them.
Yeah, good Skarner roll coming out is going to result in a kill for Shiraren getting a kill on the Bezelheim of his own, but against 3 members of ReBrand is going to result in him going down to that Skarner. And meanwhile, again in the top lane, just back and forth skirmishes between Vlad and Silas. And despite how much damage they're dealing to each other, again, they're just able to sustain so much. And hopefully with this Ocean Dragon that ReBrand were able to pick up, it will help, you're sustaining the lane, and especially when it comes time to sieging, it'll make a bit of a difference. And here comes the Vlad ult actually being popped into the Silas, but he's going to use that to get away. Nimbus Cloak movement speed being very useful there to put him back under tower. But again, health bars are just about even there in the top lane, and despite Vlad having the 1 kill advantage, we're still not seeing him able to push it as much as he'd like to.
No, he's really struggling too. I believe it's hard for a Vlad to sort of force out Silas in lane just because of Silas's W sustainability as well as ability to poke. If Vlad wastes his pool, Silas can threaten sort of pseudo-lethal, where it's close enough to push him out of lane but not kill him, to the point where it just kind of seats lane. In the bot lane, you find that McTrump actually opted for the Manamune instead of the Iceborne early. Not scared of Jhin whatsoever, considering he does have a level advantage. Really nothing to note there other than Tokushiro needs to punish that again before the game continues going much longer.
Yep, yet again in the top lane, Klein actually doing a significant amount of damage, neither having Proto Belt just yet, but both having the Hextech Revolver. And it's actually going to flash at a Klein as he goes back under tower. Pretty scared of that Silas already.
Silas did steal his ulti, so I think he was scared of him having burst, but Silas only having 10% CDR, it was not low enough for him to have lethal there, based on him using his abilities earlier. But a defensive flash is fine, just to prevent a death.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's aggressive TP back to lane.
Is this actually going to end up in his favor? Is this actually going to go over per se QQ? But yeah, no, again, it's still going to be just about even. Vlad does have his Proto Belt as opposed to the Silas. We can see him recalling now, and he does have enough gold to finish that off. And Tokushiro up on the top side, seeing if he can catch that Silas out, but not really conscientious enough to notice the back timing of Silas, so he's actually going to be wasting some more time for the most part. He is able to get his Krugs right now, but we're seeing Shiraren P5 trying to set something up in the bot lane, clearing that ward up in the front of that bush, and see if they can maybe make a pick on a Thresh and Leak, or Thresh and Jhin, I should say.
Yeah, but the problem with that is the Zyra placing her pink ward there sort of gives away that they're looking for lane dominance, and it should set Zyzo and Leek's radar off. Yep, the pings are coming out that they sense something is up with the way they're playing, and letting them know that they think Jarvan's bot side. So you'll just see them play back until they believe Jarvan's gone or until lane pushes.
Yeah, it was very nice to see that, and again, it's all about that communication and body language when it comes to being a laner. You know, it's those key things, like you said, you know, putting a pink ward in a certain position and just a certain way that you act in a lane, you know, can completely just telegraph what you plan to do. But meanwhile, Tokushiro is able to pick up more neutral objectives there, did finish off that first dragon and now having the Rift Herald, but looks like we're going to have some action up in the top lane. Predator was popped, but Sylas dashing over the wall is going to escape any unnecessary fight there, and it's actually, despite being 4-3 right now in favor of ReBrand in terms of kills, it's almost dead even gold. Close to.
Yeah, it's dead even, but it's a shame that they got Shelly after the 14-minute mark, because they could have actually gotten like a 500, not a 520, a 480 gold lead with Shelly crashing the tower pre-14.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the Jarvan is doing. Flagging Drag is canceled by that Skarner roll. Chilling Smite's going to come down, and Klein's going to be able to finish off Shirarang there. That is not quite what you want to see out of your jungler. I'm not exactly sure what his thought process was there. You know, not really much to obtain. But again, per se QQ, Klein going back and forth yet again. And actually, here comes the root out of Jin, trying to see what damage he can get off. The bouncing grenade does land on a Nova. It's still very low. Ignite is ticking, and
aggressive E.
Very, very aggressive Arcane Shift coming out from McTrump, and it's not going to get punished with that death sentence. And yet again, in this bot lane, it's going just completely even, and nothing is coming of it. Meanwhile, ReBrand is trying to do something with that Rift Herald. Two things going on at once. Curtain Call comes out from the Jin while Rift Herald is going up in the top lane. Sylas trying to defend what he can, and yeah, no, it looks like just on the top side that turret's going to be taken, and bot lane is still remaining even for the most part. Zyra is very low, but
stays pushed up here, they do get punished. I would have liked to have seen the Nico stay mid, because even if you sack top tower there, you can get mid pressure. And in doing so, you open up the map more so than saving top tower there. Yes, it does save gold from going over to ReBrand, but sometimes it's more about the pressure than the loss of gold. You can lose pressure, or you can lose gold in favor of pressure, and I'm okay with that trade. But they opted just for saving top tower.
I guess it all depends on First Blood turret as well. The difference in gold just between that and any normal turret. So, you know, just wanting to protect it as much as they possibly can, even though it does sacrifice Nico having to go up there, like you said. And here comes Sylas being able to Skarner with the Vladimir, and the pool's going to go down, and not quite going to find that pullback. But here comes Flag and Drag. That's going to be a Cataclysm coming out from Shirarang, and a shutdown for First AQ2 up in the top lane.
Interesting thing to note in that trade was that Vlad actually pooled his empowered Q, so he didn't get the
big heal,
extra heal off.
Yeah,
so that possibly caused him the kill on Sylas, but ended up him getting killed faster as well.
Yeah, no, that's a very good thing to point out. And while they do pick up that first tower up on the top side, Tokushiro decides to respond with their second Ocean Dragon of the game. So we'll see what happens down on the bot side. Here comes the double distortion coming out from Bezelheim, and True Shot Barrage isn't quite going to go off while Bezel picks up that shutdown off onto McTrump, and 7-4 right now in favor of ReBrand. It looks like they're going to see if they can get this bot tower in response to the top one.
Yeah, they actually got the kill on Ezreal right before he finished the Iceborne Gauntlet that he gets after he dies. It's really unfortunate now, because now you only have two champions that really have, a good chance of killing him, and otherwise you're sort of SOL. It's just tough. Jin is better off not being in a lane against an Ezreal, so he loses that. You want to see them in separate lanes, and they should just pressure top, considering that tower is just standing goal that they haven't gotten, so you'll see the bot lane go top. You should see McTrump and Nova anticipate that and go there, since there's nothing on the bot side of the map anyways, but we don't see that. Yeah. You will see a lot of mid control go down, because that is the next objective that people seem to want to get. So you see the Zyra pathing mid, you saw the Sylas get a pink in the mid river, or mid topside river. You also see the Thresh floating around there as well. But you do see the Vladimir go bot to establish the split push.
Yeah, I think a lot of these teams is, are just wanting to go with the methodological. Yeah, the by the book approach of, taking outer turret, outer turret, outer turret, and stuff like that. But when it comes to the most efficient macro and rotations, both teams kind of run around and really aren't exactly sure of what they should and shouldn't be doing. So, like you said, we're going to see a lot of hovering around the mid lane. We do see both Leek and Zyzo up in the top lane right now, and McTrump is still on that bot side of the map. He has the heal on the Ezreal instead of the teleport, so he isn't able to respond. But meanwhile, Zyzo getting a little bit of trouble, does manage to get the lantern out for safety, and Silas almost went for a little bit of a ride with him. Shirarang's there to apply the pressure, and here comes...
They're fighting blind, they just need to back up.
Yeah, no, both teams aren't really sure who wants to, go all in on a fight and, just go balls deep, but Belzeheim going balls deep in his own does get starter roll to Toxicant does, and distorting away does manage to get him to safety, and teleport coming in from Klein. A lot of damage coming out. Cataclysm is going to drop, but Toxicant is going to fall to Klein and is managing to get his cooldowns off, and Shirarang flash and flag and dragging away while at the sliver of health that he does manage to get away with, so that is going to be in favor of ReBrand after all that, though.
I believe Jarvan actually had the capability of saving Flash there if he did have his flag and drop coming up, but there's no problem with just playing it really safe, I suppose. Important to note, you also see Bezel behind Paragon 5 right now looking for a flank. McTrump does have E, but he just used it, so you'll see an engage onto him right here. He should die. No,
really should die. Does burn his flash yet again because he just uses his arcane shift aggressively. Fox is going to come down from Bleak, and a good root is going to land on a Bezelheim. Another Mystic Shot is going to land, and almost predicting with the True Shot barrage there, McTrump just hardly gets away, and Zyzo burns the heal as well. So I think it was pretty well played by both teams all around there. And we do see Zyzo does have the curtain call available, while the rest of members of P5 look for this mid lane outer turret.
A really unfortunate overlapping of summoners there as well. Bezel had the W to get outside of the Ezreal ulti, but Zyzo felt like he had to use his heal there. So they do trade... What's going on? Yeah,
we see the Skarner is actually getting Skarner ulted. A flag and drag is going to land onto him. McTrump is going to pick up that kill. Here comes the curtain call, though, picking up what damage he can, but no one is low enough. Floor shot is landing onto the Silas, and that's just going to be 1-0 in favor of P5 right there. So again, it's still anybody's game. Gold is dead even.
Wow, this is an awesome game. This is peak SFL.
Oh yeah.
So a couple problems there is ReBrand picks up the advantage by giving the Ezreal flash while trading in Jin's heal. So they have, like, let's say a 1.5 minute advantage in terms of the summoner trade. They can just back out of the fight, take the advantage they got back by, and then apply even greater pressure and trade. Instead, they try and expand into blind vision solo, consequently getting picked off and letting P5 sort of recalibrate the mid lane pressure and just reset.
Yeah, we do see Bezel going very aggressive on all these distortions, trying to pick people off on the backline, just try to blow them up before the dragon that spawns here in 20 seconds. The next dragon is...
Drake, though.
It's going to be another Ocean Drake. It'll be ReBrand's third if they manage to get it, but otherwise I can't imagine Ocean Dragon going to do much for P5 if they are able to pick it up, but all 5 members on each team are ready, and we'll see them start to flex around this dragon as it starts to respawn here.
P5 would like to at least get one Ocean Drag. Yeah, no, that's actually, sorry. One Ocean Dragon onto the team with an Ezreal so we can just continuously Q-poke. But they are actually better off just establishing vision on it, and once they see ReBrand go for it, they can actually sneak a Baron. Because ReBrand has no vision on Baron whatsoever. So you don't need a prio drag here and get picked off at Silas's.
Yeah, and here comes Silas yet again getting Skarner ulted. Predator Skarner is doing a good job. And meanwhile, on the other side, McTrump is able to take out Bezelheim as well. So that's actually going to be one member on each team being taken down, a 4v4 as they start to go for this Ocean Dragon here. And looks like...
But again, net positive for Paragon 5 getting a shutdown on Bezel.
Yeah, we see Shirarang is able to flag and drag in, and it's actually going to be Paragon 5 that do pick up that dragon there. McTrump is able to steal in Toxcan, dealing a large amount of damage, but is going to land that death sentence. Curtain call does come out. Shirarang is very low. He's going to land the second shot. Third shot is going to land, and that's 4 coming out from Zyzo there. Good double kill coming out from Jen.
Yeah, so Ezreal actually stole the dragon in that entire scuffle, but you did see the Vladimir somehow 1v3 the backline of Paragon 5 because he's a balanced champion. And unfortunately, not Silas, but Jarvan was not able to create similar amount of pressure after he did flag and drag away from his team. So it was more like a 3v1 turned into a 4v3 with advantage after Vlad did basically kill 2. So there's just a matter of mopping it up like it's a school after a shooting.
Jesus Christ, Coyote. I said you were gonna behave. I gave people my word. You can't go around making Sandy Hook jokes. Hold on a moment. I have to draw a line.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. I don't care about it, but some people do.
I mean, yeah, understandable.
How about instead of school shootings, we talk about jungler itemization? What do you think about both the junglers' builds as of right now?
So I agree with the Skarner Merc Treads. He does need that against the Zyra and the Nico with the stun as well. Actually, P5 has so much CC, but at the end of the day, Merc Treads don't matter if you're stuck inside of a Jarvan ulti. So yeah. I don't know if it's necessarily the correct item, but I don't know what you would go instead. With the Jarvan prioritizing a Knight's Vow, which I don't know who he has that on. Let me see real quick. Who do you use that on? He has it on the Ezreal, which I guess makes some sense, but I believe in fights you might actually see the Nico doing more damage than the Ezreal.
I say so, depending on how much burst each player can get out there. Meanwhile, Per se QQ getting very low against Klein, and that W heal is going to heal him up a bit, but with Morel and Nomicon on the Vladimir, it's going to reduce a lot of it. It's a very close 1v1 back and forth, and it's going to end up being Klein on a rampage, picking up that kill, and Noah flashing away from Tokushiro. Is very scary having the Predator Skarner is able to just run up, and if he gets in range of anybody, can just sit there and abduct him. If Zyzo has that force shot available, it's just so easy for them to get picks with the Skarner.
Yeah, so if your top laner can't keep up with the split push against the Vladimir, you're going to see your team slowly crumble. Especially if your team can't win the 4v5, it'll quickly turn into 5v4s with Vladimir having his TP it up.
Yeah, we're actually going to see Shiralring is going to throw that Cataclysm down, but he's just going to flag and drag out of it. He's just looking for disengage right now. Meanwhile, Tokushiro getting rooted up by Desire. Chung Smite going down as well, but Jarvan's going to get ult, and that's going to be 9-line Klein unstoppable right now on this Vladimir, and that's going to be the rest of Paragon 5 looking to defend against ReBrand, who were behind at the early portion of this game, and Distortion going in again from Bezel, just so very aggressive. I think both Bezelheim and McTrump, when it comes to their gap closers, just will use them off cooldown without hesitation.
Yeah, I don't think I've actually seen Ezreal E backwards once this game, and he hasn't been punished for it. Once you see Skarner Flash come up with Predator, well, you'll just see
that's going to be a good pickup by Bezelheim there, picking up Nova, and True Shot Barrage is coming out. Predicts the Lantern yet again, and it's McTrump getting these close call True Shot Barrage, is not able to find him, but I think he'd probably pick up at least 2 kills, if not 3 already, with those ults if he was able to land them, but not quite. So far it is 16-7 in favor of ReBrand right now. Just about a 3K gold lead.
2.8. Yeah, so 2.8
2K, yeah.
Coming out of ReBrand, even though they are 9 kills up. So it feels like they're getting a lot of kills, but they aren't getting anything out of it. Yes, they do have 2 dragons, which is 1 more than Paragon 5, but it is Ocean Drake, which is almost negated past the 30-minute mark, because most people have the ability to regen what they need in a sizable amount of time. So unless you see ReBrand actually start making a push towards trying to get something out of their kills, I believe we could see a P5 comeback, unless ReBrand does find 2 kills and get the Baron, and then you'll just see a slow push with the Vlad in the side lane, just win, especially with Baron. But again, teams prioritizing Dragon.
Yeah, it's going to be yet another Skarner roll to Shiralring. He's going to throw down the Cataclysm, but doesn't have the flag and drive quite yet. Does flash out of it, and here comes Toxic. Nico is going to lay down a lot of damage. Tokushiro getting very low. Another flag and drag is going to land on Tokushiro, but Curtain Call is going to pick up 2 kills there. Zyzo with a double kill, and meanwhile Silas trying to see if he can find Thresh there, but with 9-line Clown on the backside with the Vladimir, not quite able to find anything. So that is going to be 3 kills for ReBrand there, just in favor for 2, and it looks like they're going to pick up that Infernal Dragon, which much more valuable than these Oceans that we've been seeing.
It is more valuable, but again, a 3-for-2 trade, even though it feels like ReBrand should have a foothold, they just seem to keep slipping, and they can't seem to actually take another step with what they keep getting. Infernal will help propel them, but neither team has really had vision on Baron now for 7 straight minutes, and a team could have easily snuck it by now, especially trading an earlier Ocean Dragon.
No, it's a really good point to notice with the kills, though, as you had mentioned. It could be 40-0, it could be a complete team deathmatch, but if you don't pick up those objectives and actually push your lead, what's the point in getting the kills in the first place? And as you said, the longer you stall out, once Ezreal, is able to finish his second tier item, does have the Hex Drinker to see if he can get some survivability versus the Vladimir and the LeBlanc. But, we'll see him able to get a lot more hybrid damage once he does finish off that Saracen Embrace, if he gets that stacked up. And we're actually seeing already, though, Zyzo picking up his third crit item, his second Zeal item, actually, of the game right now. So he does have 75% crit and just so much movement speed with all that attack speed he's able to build there.
A really big cause for concern, the people with bounties on ReBrand, example, Jhin, worth 950 gold. He actually is 500 gold behind the Ezreal, so if he dies... Skarner actually didn't get the ulti off and the sound went off.
Yeah, no, that was pretty weird. I got that too. That was a little bizarre.
Yeah, but anyways, if you kill the Jhin, Team Gold might actually get balanced out with your Ezreal getting like a 1k gold lead on top of him, as well as if you manage to get a kill on the Thresh, which is a huge shutdown for free.
So maybe utilize the Jarvan Cataclysm, maybe, combine it with the, as we were talking about in Champs, like just all the circular AoE ults, if they can maybe just pretty much go balls to the walls and try to get as far deep back into Zyzo and Leak as they possibly can, I guess, to see if they can pick up that gold, because I can't imagine them killing Klein at this point.
Yeah, they are sacrificing bot tier 2 trying to force a fight mid, even though they have no...
Looks like a fight is going to start, though. Here comes 9-line Klein. It's godlike on this Vladimir right now. Togtan does manage to land the ult. Tokushiro is going to go down, but Togtan is going to go down as well. Bezelheim laying a good distortion there. A lot of damage coming out the curtain call. He's going to see who he can find, and Vladimir will come out from the Silas. Is going to result in him being a 1v4 situation. Shararang isn't able to do anything. True Shot Barrage isn't going to find anybody either. Leak, out of all people, is on a killing spree, while the rest of the members of ReBrand walk up this mid lane.
Yeah. Paragon 5 is getting some picks, but they're getting picks on the 1 and 4 Skarner, who offers nothing in terms of gold. You're better off looking for the Jhin, looking for the Thresh, looking for the... not even the Vladimir. Vladimir is too slippery that you die by the time you guys even get a kill. The problem there was they should just try to stall fight mid for as long as possible. Let the Silas get tier 2, even pressure base tower. It forces Vlad to back off, and while Vlad's backing off, you can actually force a fight mid, which is 4v4, kill the Jhin, and even get onto the Thresh, because most likely you'll see the Thresh land through the Jhin, and then you can get 2 bounty there, and actually propel your team into the lead. Instead, they try and force a fight 5v4, and you see them lose like they did. Which turns into 2 towers.
I'm definitely not against junglers building Knight's Vow for me as an AD carry. Me out of all people, it's one of my favorite things in the world, but I really do think with this Jarvan pick, you don't really need to protect an Ezreal, you don't really need to protect a Nico, and all these different, the various carry damage champions that P5 has right now, and we see Jarvan with a little bit more of like a backline peel type ability. Has the Knight's Vow to reduce the damage of, who he's tanking, he's able to heal up with who's dealing damage and all that different good stuff coming out from that Knight's Vow, but I really do think that it's supposed to, be more utilized to dive onto Zyzo, and it's actually going to be diving onto Leak right there, and it's going to be able to flash away. Knockup coming out from Silas. It's going to result in
like it's extended, they lose.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge fight coming out. Zyzo is dominating. He picks up the kill on the Silas. Shararang's chasing Leak to the ends of the earth here. It's actually going to be, McTrump picking up a shutdown there with that Mystic Shot, but meanwhile...
the problem is Vladimir's pushing bot lane with a TP advantage. You can see ReBrand try and get Baron Vision here to get it and actually sneak it as everyone backs to go and stop Vlad. Vlad does have TP advantage compared to Silas, about like maybe 3.5 minutes from the cooldown. Maybe even 4.
Actually, that's going to be Zyzo way too far forward. No one is there to help you, buddy. And that's going to be 1,000 gold over to Shararang there.
That is the inhibitor bot lane going down. That's a free Baron now. And if they play it right, you should see Vlad go in the top lane here. Bot lane will push itself in the C4 established mid. They'll get Baron Vision as a result, and you'll see them go for it once the bot minion wave passes tier 2 and starts threatening base. Because no one can really clear waves really well on Paragon 5 unless you have Silas, which he doesn't have TP, or you can have someone like Nico go, but you need to go in a team fight. So you see Paragon 5 actually being forced into a really bad position.
And they're trying their best to stall out this game, and right now we see ReBrand going for their 4th dragon of the game, this being the Cloud. This time around we do see Shirarang making a little bit of a presence, but just going to result in them getting the dragon fairly uncontested. And meanwhile we do see Seraph's Embrace is finished on that Ezreal, as he does have the Cutlass finished as well. And meanwhile Zyzo trying to finish off that Stormrazor.
Awful inventory coming out of Nick. He does have a Hex Tech as well as a Bilge Water. No one is really has like a ton of health on ReBrand other than Skarner, but he doesn't need to die. So you're better off just completing the Maul and building something instead of the Blade of the Ruin King, which seems like a waste.
Bezel in not the position he wants to be in, but does manage to get away, and now Jarvan getting pulled away by the Skarner. True Shot Barrage is going to come out. Noah getting very low on the side, and there goes Bezelheim, able to pick off that last kill. Nylon Klein is legendary as he finishes off the Zyra, and here comes the Sylas, getting so much damage as much as he can, but that's still just going to be the only member remaining left is McTrump, and Curtain Call is going to come out to see if they can find him while Bezel's hunting him as well.
Wins. They just go bot lane here, and they can push to the end.
Yeah, McTrump is going to try to recall, but Bezel's going to do a good job to get that flash distortion in the chains, and that looks like, for the most part...
Please don't do Baron. Please just win the game.
They're not winning the game, but Nine Klein is. He's there in the bot side, is pushing with those 2 super minions, and he's on a lone mission there.
The GG already. He knows it's open. He has a brain here, but for some reason they didn't go and they opted for the Baron with a single push bot lane. They might be able to win it with the Baron onto the Vladimir, but
it's still 2 seconds, 1 second. Yeah, McTrump's gone. I can't imagine they're defending this, and that's going to be the Vlad pooling and getting that last auto, and that's going to be a victory for ReBrand in Game 1 versus Paragon 5.
Just didn't feel like a good win, but...
Oh, I see a few tears on Skarner as well. Oh, geez.
Yeah, I'd be upset too if the other team jungler disrespected me and built Knights of Vow and suicided in 3 times. it was a good concept from the Jarvan playing for the Ezreal, because he is your win condition that game, but he kept getting picked off to the point where the item didn't actually matter. If you do go to the damage chart, you will see that Jarvan actually dealt the least amount of damage in the entire game, which is a huge problem. He did go full tank, but the problem is he wasn't absorbing damage in team fights. He was just getting picked off before he could actually be utilized by his team.
Yeah, no, like I said, I think it really needed to be some sort of, like, more so, as you said, heavy dive, full AD Jarvan to blow up that Jhin, to blow up just anyone that you can actually, make a pick of. And, as just continue talk. If there's any other analysis you got about the game, creating this next custom, so the floor is all yours, dude.
Yeah, so I think the Jarvan pick is fine in theory if he does anything early, but he didn't. He allowed the Skarner to get level 6. And in doing so, having not set him behind whatsoever, you run into a problem where he's more useful than you are if you don't try and force anything at that point. And the problem with forcing is they were consequently punished for it with getting the Shelly topside to get the majority of damage on top power. Another problem was your bot lane was able to extend really far, and you had, I believe at level 4 or 5, the ability to threaten a dive, but you stuck on Skarner Shrine, giving away your position, and you also tried to do the lane gank bot lane, but your bot lane played it and sold it, which allowed top pressure to be developed by ReBrand. Yeah. Overall, champion picks were fine. The problem that developed was just a macro misplay.
I think it's understandable. I think one of the key things to notice as well was the not utilizing of the Rift Herald before 14 minutes. Like you said, not able to pick up a lot of that early turret plating gold that it would allow them to have. That can, as just super early on in the game, can allow you to have just an absolutely massive gold swing, like you said. And actually,
also a really big problem I want to talk about. So for Paragon 5, it appears that their win condition is their bot lane. Jarvan should start topside and path bot side in order to get them ahead, because Skarner will go the opposite route. So it's actually possible for you to get a triple buff against ReBrand without them knowing, considering they go for an early invade. You invade at topside, get the blue, you'll go red, you'll go blue, and you gank your bot side. You have jungle advantage as well as bot lane pressure as a result. I'd love to see that done next game.
Yeah, real quick here, hop into the lobby, because, oh, no, you got it, because there's just about enough room to squeeze in there. But otherwise, I think if everybody's just about ready, we'll try to fly into game 2 as fast as we can here. But otherwise, if there is a little bit of a wait, I'll probably just do like a quick little intermission. It does look like that it's still going to be Paragon 5 on blue side, so I don't think I have to change anything. And yeah, so this will be game 2. Otherwise, I'll be interested to see how draft is changed up a little bit. I really wish that I was able to see the Paragon 5 bot lane do a little bit more, but I really do think once 9-line Clown was rolling on that Vladimir, I don't think there was any stopping him. And Bezelheim alone was just picking off any squishy that he saw in any opportunity.
Yeah. Are we at intermission yet, or? No.
No,
Okay.
no. We're like, hold on. Are we still?
Because a caster could take like a 1-minute intermission, real quick.
Oh yeah, dude, yeah. You're all set if you wanna do that.
Right.
While I say yeah, you're all good. So otherwise, I'll sit here and talk to myself. As we saw there, it was a very good game played out by ReBrand there. Even though it wasn't the quickest of games, they weren't able to find the advantage they needed as quickly as possible, but they were able to pull off the win either way. So game 1 did go over to them, and we do have all the same rosters for both teams so far, and it looks like that just for the meantime we do see that Paragon 5 is ready. I'll get one more confirmation from ReBrand. If ReBrand isn't ready, we'll take it to a quick little commercial break, and if they are ready, we'll just fly right into game 2, whether or not Coyote is here. But hopefully, this is has been an interesting series so far. If you guys have any complaints, please let us know. And yeah, I'm not sure what else to talk about here. I didn't expect my mind to go blank once the other guy had left. Oh geez. Yeah, we'll send it to an intermission. So we'll put on some music. We'll be back momentarily. Alrighty, and it looks like we are already getting into Game 2. So this is going to be Game 2 of ReBrand and Paragon 5. So right off the bat, we're seeing a Vladimir ban. So
you see the knee-jerk Vladimir ban from last game. I believe that's the only problem from last game. That should be the only ban we actually see. You want to see aggressive early game junglers getting banned over against ReBrand and then picking up like maybe a Xin Zhao. Or you can even repick the Jarvan again. Denying the Kha'Zix though, again, is last game they banned an Alistar here, and I understand why. I'm curious if they do it again.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Tom Kench has actually been taken off the table for both games, actually, so I thought that was pretty interesting alone.
Yeah, they actually banned the Braum over. I was actually hoping P5 would pick that this game. I wish P5 would actually pick the Urgot top lane, as well as picking an aggressive early game jungler to enable the bot lane with like an Alistar, maybe a Braum, to enable McTrump to start carrying, because even though his team was behind that entire game, he kept up in gold against a Fed Jhin all game. He is their win condition. They need to play around him better.
Absolutely.
I would like to see the jungler's pathing almost be steal the red buff from Toku, gank top, go blue into red, and then gank the bot lane and get them ahead. It'd be interesting to see if they did that.
Yeah, I'd really like to see a better jungle pick than the full tank jar in that game, or if they do decide to go for something like that, I think different picks need to be associated with that, because I really don't think that was the composition to do it with.
No, I want to see either an Urgot pickup here or an Alistar. ReBrand picks it away, because I feel like they didn't ban it for that reason. You'll see like an Alistar lane. Oh, they pick away the Thresh. Alright, they pick the Thresh away. You'll see an Alistar. Ghana. I don't expect they'd pick anything else here. You would also probably see a more, you'd see an ADC that actually has mobility in the bot lane, so you might see the Ezreal being...
Yeah, I don't know about the Leona and the Thresh. That's I really don't like that. It's so very easy to play a Zenith Blade from the Leona. So I don't like Zyzo and Leek's thought process there. I do understand the Tristana Leona lane, just like super aggressive, jump on them, go ham type deal. But you're doing that against Trump and Nova, who for the most part, if you try to do something like super, really stupidly aggressive, they're going to punish you.
P5 actually not listening to a single word I said. They did pick the tank engage bot lane. Oh my god. Alright. So a lot to unpack here. They pick the Thresh away from Leek, which makes sense. And it is a tanky engage support, which I enjoy. They pick a Sejuani jungle, which I'm not a huge fan of, compared to if they did go like a Xin Zhao, or they did go some sort of aggressive early game jungler. In retaliation to the Thresh pick, they picked Leona Tristana, which I'm not really okay with. I'm definitely not okay with them picking Sion, which will presumably go against the chase and just get poked out of lane. The really net negative matchup, unless it is Bezel mid with that Sion.
I can't imagine. I think Bezel just loves his damage way too much to be able to, opt for, the tank mid lane, but otherwise we're not going to see Trump on Ezreal yet again. We're seeing both the Ezreal and the Lucian taken away from him, so two of his most popular picks are going to be taken away from him. Bezelheim not going to have his popular pick of the LeBlanc either, so a lot of these picks we saw last game we're not seeing this game.
P5 is actually going for preventing as many comfort picks away from ReBrand as possible, and ReBrand seems to be just picking net even or net neg matchups, which I'm not in favor of. Apparently Toxican also plays a mean Malzahar.
I know the Staker plays a mean Malzahar. That's the best Malzahar player I know for sure.
Yeah, well, considering he goes jungle, does Malzahar still gets banned? Kind of shocking.
Yeah, it's a little strange. I've seen it. I've questioned it.
You need to take away disengage here. Zoe is not the correct ban. You need to take away maybe like an Ornn, perhaps. What, they have a jungle open? They could go again Xin Zhao. Riven is not the pick here, especially blind. Please don't pick that. Please just pick Lissandra. Don't.
Okay, they're going for the Silas this time. They saw percent QQ on it.
Seeing how well P5 utilized, decided to take that away from them because it was such a threat last game. So that way you can steal, Sejuani ulti, considering she's the only person who you'd actually want to steal an ulti from, if that. really feels like a waste of a pick, and like they could have just picked Lissandra for a safer mid lane, established lane dominance, and then allowed for more roam potential. Considering you can pick a counter pick to Sejuani, there's actually no reason to blind pick mid lane there. They just pick their jungler there. I just don't agree with the Sylas pick, especially when you can only see 3/5 of the enemy team. Now they can pick champions with ultimates you don't want to steal, such as Yasuo or an Ahri. You don't want to steal their ultis. It's not reliable.
Yeah, it's not going to be good for Sylas, take a Yasuo ulti. The only knock-up he's going to be able to rely on is a Scion, Q, or ult, and unless Leak picks up something close...
Tristana.
Oh, okay, Tristana, I guess, yeah, but for them to actually notice that quickly, chances are if Zyzo is using his R away, it's probably going to be to get the Ahri away from him, to get the Jace or Yasuo or whoever's on him. We're actually going to see Veigar picked up for Bezelheim, or actually, I assume it's going to be... Yeah, it's Bezelheim, of course. Leona is going for Leak there, and so it looks like it's going to be... Veigar, Ahri in the mid lane, and then we see... Is that actually going to be a Jace AD with the Thresh down there for Paragon 5? I think it actually might be.
Oh yeah, right now it is a Thresh mid Ahri support. Alright, they finally trade over.
Yeah, I can't imagine that Toxscan's the best Thresh mid. I can't imagine many people are, but...
The Yasuo pick into Scion top is very interesting, because you do have the ability to dash through minions to get outside of his Q and apply a lot of pressure. However, pushing lane into Scion isn't an ideal situation, necessarily. Wait, that's Sylas jungle.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's awful. I hope it's Aftershock, if anything. If it's anything... God. You need to prevent P5's bot lane from getting ahead. And your team is going to find it very hard, considering the Jace and Thrush both have utility enough to push away and engage onto them. And I don't think Sylas gives them possibility for a 3v2 to go well, especially if it's a 3v3 with Sejuani just being ulti. ReBrand, if they just pick a different jungler, I don't see a way they lose this game. Picking Sylas, there's a massive hole in the jungle where Sejuani can push her advantage like level 3 in bot lane to get McTrump ahead. Once he is ahead, he can poke out Tristana heavily from lane, because the only healing she'll be getting is from her summoner, which she'll blow the first gank, or from the shield that she gets from Leona. And if getting 1 or 2 kills bot lane ahead, it allows Sejuani to then rotate topside, where you can then shut down the Scion. But I don't want to see P5 make any plays around mid lane, especially with the Veigar. Just such a bad idea.
Yeah, it's hard to punish a Veigar. Baby Cage does allow a huge just AoE of no-go zone, and I do like that McTrump actually opted for the cleanse here versus the Leona, versus the Veigar, and the various forms of crowd control that ReBrand does have. We didn't see Toxscan going in the mid lane. We did see him take the Ignite versus the Veigar, so maybe looking for a little bit of early kill pressure. Maybe Shiraring is actually going to be sticking around the mid lane, as he said you maybe don't want to see. And if they can try to pick up something there, I can't read Paragon 5 at this point.
No heal bot lane for them.
Yeah.
I hope that they realize their win condition is Trump and they play around him, especially knowing that he went cleanse, not heal, because the moment he gets put down below half, he is just in lethal range and can easily die.
Yep.
If they don't, they just lose the game, in my opinion. If McTrump gets behind, I don't think Yasuo, even if he goes even in lane with Scion, can carry hard enough. And I don't think Ahri can make a big enough of a difference in a game against Veigar where he can just E people off his Tristana and Tristana can W away. It's tough for P5 to find an advantageous opening against a Scion Veigar Leona. It's nearly impossible, especially when Sylas can just, I guess, steal Sejuani ulti one time to prevent it. But actually, he could steal Thrush as well, but those are the only 2 ultis he's looking for. I'm interested to see how this goes.
I am as well, yeah. I mean, even just in the bot lane, like that's, me being a bot laner is probably like all I ever fucking really think about for the most part, and to see something like a Jace Thresh or a Tristana Leona, I completely understand why Zyzo League picked this, combination, that they actually do want to, like, by themselves, like, just those two be able to push some sort of advantage and, like, find kills of their own and without Bezelheim, Tokashira, or Klein. But
they tried doing that last game and they just overextended and died. I don't know why they feel confident enough to do it again, but continue.
No, that was really just about it. That it's such a very highly aggressive, you pick Tristana Leona, you don't play passive. You don't sit there and you're like, oh, I'm just going to farm out this. Like, no, you pick that with the intention of, I'm going to murder you every opportunity I can get.
Electrocute Silas, what are you doing? Alright, so we see Electrocute Silas with no defensives, actually, whatsoever. I think that is just horrific. I think that is just awful. I think you will see Silas getting blown up in team fights if he engages them. It's very bad. He doesn't have the survivability out of jungle as he does coming out of top lane. I do want to see P5 invade the top side of the map, steal the red buff away from Silas, force him to stay bot side. If you can get the Yasuo ahead early of signing to shut him down completely, you do just have to tell your bot lane to play safe, which they inevitably will have to, especially with Tristana and Leona threatening them to play.
Yeah, very good points all around, and hopefully we'll see the players apply pressure to where they need to and get their correct lanes rolling, and hopefully, like you said, they can get McTrump ahead and actually can get him into more of a scary threat. And right now we're seeing
alright, ReBrand tuned into the stream, canceling the top invade actually, while P5 seems to have opted for preventing the bot lane invade. So we see 5 people on either side of the map just preventing invades that are non-existent. This is God. All right.
At least they're both trying something, I suppose. That they're
trying something, but neither of them doing something that actually gets them ahead as a consequence. Seems like they're both just sacrificing the first minute and a half to do nothing. Because now you have to see the 3 people walk with each other in the jungle to make sure you're safe. Vigar, Sion, Silas are both not even in mid-river. Yasuo is back at his base, and you have... Nah, God. Alright. I don't know, it's just interesting seeing how a game... They are... ReBrand is opting to start topside. So they are looking for a level 3 gank bot lane to actually propel the Tristana and Leona into the game. And it doesn't appear that Paragon 5 actually has the recognition of that, so they're going to try and get the Yasuo or Ahri ahead. We'll see what actually works.
I think depending on where Klein holds the lane and actually how he manipulates the minion wave, we actually see per se QQ as Klein walks in blind, does get a good little Q off onto him. But
he could have gotten more damage down. That's
absolutely.
That's a grasp Scion.
Yeah.
You're not going to pop off until 4 seconds after. You could have at least traded for 3 more seconds.
Yeah, just small little things like that do make a difference, especially level 1, level 2, and early stages of the game. Just one auto may completely make the difference. You do it early enough on.
Yeah, he's been pushed off 4 minions in the first wave. That's 100 sing. So now you pick what you think is an advantageous matchup, but you're actually net neg early.
We actually do see Tokushiro here on the top side of the map, was able to take his red and his Krugs, and maybe looking for a little bit of a gank in the top lane, see if he can pick up this Yasuo with the Scion, or maybe going to see what the Sejuani's doing. Just picked up her blue, and both junglers are level 2 though, but Raw-Rang's a lot lower. He's actually going to get knocked up, pulled right to him with the Silas, and going to get very low. And
can't finish him off even.
Yeah,
we'll just see the Sedge back. Yep. Alright.
Wasn't able to finish him off, and Toxscan going a little wide on that charm. Not quite going to find it, but the Electrocute will land and get some damage off on a Bezelheim there. Again, no kills going down, though. We did see Ahri was able to collapse with the Sejuani, did see it far enough ahead, and Sejuani in her first back actually did go for the Hunter's Potion, and a little bit of a trade in the bot lane. I can't imagine it's going any bit much further forward. McTrump is so very low on mana, he can't really capitalize on that death sentence, but otherwise, it's just back and forth.
He does have a biscuit. He did pop the biscuit. He does have enough for maybe a QQ engage if the Thresh does land a hook, which can threaten a kill against the Leona, but if they don't kill fast enough, they just lose. You do see the Thresh walk. They should walk forward here on Zenith Blade. Once the bomb pops, they should walk forward. Yeah, there's Thresh, and missed hook means they back off for 12 seconds.
Yeah, they do have to, both bot laners, they need to be conscious of both of the cooldowns on each side. Like you said, if the Zenith Blade is down, that's a huge opening against the Leona, and here comes Tokushiro yet again. Does get the crab smite away by Shararang, and it's going to get a little bit of a fight back and forth. Bezelheim is the first to respond, and Leek is here as well. Another good pull, and flashes over the wall.
Leona is now forced to flash out.
No, I think she's able to walk out, stupidly enough. I don't think P5 are actually able to realize that there's a Leona in the midst of their jungle, but That was
that's actually Jace is now able to push bot lane into Trist under tower, which is awful level 3, as you know, if you're an ADC player.
Yep.
So she will miss out on probably half bot lane, consequently giving Jace a lead bot lane. He is also 3 potions up. He's just down in mana, but he can continue to auto attack her out of lane, as well as having the ability to probably all in kill her.
Yeah, even though maybe the choice of Electrocute for the Sylas jungle maybe wasn't the most efficient here, and actually Yasuo getting a lot of damage off on a Scion there in the top side, but as I was saying, we're seeing Tokashira is actually applying a good amount of pressure on the Sylas so far, first on the top side of the map, and even at the bot side. Shiraring was able to pick up that crab in the bottom, but it's still
We see the interaction you talked about of playing away Zenith Blade engage.
Oh yeah, no, it's going to be, for Leek to actually get in there on this Leona, unless he just flash Qs one of them, it's going to be so hard to, because again, Nova's just going to be constantly waiting, just waiting for that animation for the Leona to E, and he's just like he's hovering his finger right over the play right now, and wasn't able to get it there, and that's actually going to be a huge punish there.
Should just be a Lantern out.
Yeah, Lantern out does bring Mitrup to safety, and it's actually going to be Leek's Ignite there, down for the count, and he's very low walking back in the lane, so he's doesn't have any resources to help him out there, but still wants to get what little bit of farm he can.
He did pop 3 health pots, so that's 450 health that's going to come back to him eventually. But he's still
no mana.
Having no mana
Yeah,
is not where you want to be in a Jace lane.
Absolutely not. But
I mean, even top lane, if you are dumb enough to pick that champion, Yasuo should have taken that engage there. Alright. You shouldn't pick Jace in the first place, but if you do, you don't want to play Jace out of mana. You're as useful as being AFK. Because Tristana has more auto attack range than Jace. So you can't get in to actually threaten anything.
And if he's in auto attack range, that also means he's in Zenith Blade range. And we actually see Nova going for a cheeky little bluff there, throws the Lantern back with nobody else there, but that's going to be enough for Zyzo to jump away. Doesn't want to get caught out by the Sejuani here, even though Sejuani's up on the top side taking Tokashira's Raptors.
Yeah, he actually shouldn't finish off. If you those up, you deny much more. But it appears he left 1 up, so he does do that. What was interesting with that bot lane is they have the Tri-Brush warded, so they have perfect vision. So now that he's done it twice, if he does it again, you might actually just see an engage from ReBrand.
Yeah, we do see the Zenith Blade try to go in, but is flayed, and McTrump does have the Tristana bottle on, getting very low. Summon Airy doing a lot of damage to Zyzo, who's walking away with that Ignite ticking on the last little Relic Shield proc. A good flash play coming out from Nova does allow McTrump to get the first blood. Lee trying to fight out 1v2 here, but Death Sentence isn't quite going to find him. A lot of damage still coming out from this chase. Despite how Umi is, it's going to be a double kill. The first 2 kills of the game for McTrump.
Yeah, you hate to picking a great lane to try and force yourself ahead, and you actually just get double killed. That Jace is now going to be a menace. He's going to pick up his first lethality item. He's going to pick up an extra longsword, and you're just not going to be able to do anything about it. You're going to force your Sylas jungle to come bot. But you know who else is going to be bot? The Sejuani, and she's a better champion than you are. So you lose the 3v3 straight up, especially at a level disadvantage. The Sylas can't do anything in the jungle. So they have a jungle advantage, they have a bot lane advantage. They should just be able to snowball this game ahead.
Yeah, we do see Toxscan almost getting caught out by Tokashiro. I was a little upset when I did notice that Bezelheim did get hit by the charm there, as Toxscan used his Spirit Rush. I think if he was able to reposition himself with his second charge of Spirit Rush and get the return on the Q damage off on a Bezelheim, I definitely think he could have ult in, especially having Flash. And here comes Yasuo. Speaking of all-ins, going in on the Yasuo Klein, getting very low and just walking it out, just walking the pain off, and has his Balmy Cinder, but he's not able to deal damage right back to this Yasuo as Yasuo is to him.
Yeah, but not that you're doing it on purpose, but Yasuo is now 11 CS ahead in 8 minutes. You'll see that grow to probably 30 CS, coming at like the 15-minute mark if he continues applying this pressure, just because
here comes the Sejuani
coming out. Bodyguard should just make it out here. He dodges the charm, means he lives. Sorry to take your role.
No, dude, you're all good. We're actually seeing Tokashiro trying to return though with that gank not being successful.
Champion.
Yeah, I can't imagine Electrocute Sylas is really going to do much once he walks in the lane, but we did see it was a good Sejuani ult coming out from Shirarang there, but it is going to cost Bezelheim to blow both his summoners, and Meanwhile, again, on the bot side, we do see, as you said, a lot of armor pen, a lot of cooldown reduction coming out from the Jace already at 9 minutes. Does have the Serrated Dirk, does have the Caulfield's Warhammer.
He's able to pick up Serrated Dirk and Caulfield's Warhammer.
Oh yeah, he's just absolutely massive right now. We're actually seeing Leek flash forward. He does manage to stun up Thresh there, and a lot of damage coming off onto him, and it's going to result in Zyzo jumping forward, picking up that kill on the Nova. So a good little kill there. Tokushiro is on the spot side, and maybe they'll look to Infernal.
They can't Infernal, because Ahri and Sejuani are advantage. It's just a kill bot lane, which, yeah, sure is nice, but Jace has the ability to take care of this wave 1v2 under tower, especially with Cleanse not being used in the last team fight. He does go melee stance, so he gets like 200 damage applied to him for no reason, I guess. He gets the poke off onto Tristana as well. You actually see Sylas advantage against Sejuani now because she did make some mistakes in the early mid game. She's not pathing properly.
Yeah, not only that, but I think out of all the lanes to gank, like you gank anyone else with that Sejuani ult, and nobody else has cleanse on that team, so you go for the one person with the cleanse. You know, he's able to not only cleanse but flash away to safety. You're wasting so much time and valuable resources that could be used in getting it. Like imagine using that Sejuani ult down bottom, you know, with the Jace there, and how much more detrimental that would have been to, you know, put Zyzo behind a little bit. We're actually seeing him recall, does finish off the Berserker Greaves, so he's going to have that tier 2 movement speed, tier 2 boot movement speed. He's going to have that bonus attack speed. It's going to help him proc that press the attack faster. It's going to help him get that 4th auto off.
Sejuani's just waiting for...
Yeah, no, the bot lane for ReBrand isn't even there.
If Leona shows mid, Tristana dies. Because Tristana has no idea that Sejuani's sitting in that bot bush. So the moment Thresh sees this Leona, they engage onto the Tristana, and she has no way of getting out unless she prep W's it, but she has to W from blind vision.
Yeah, they're both junglers right now. We do see them trying to get their laners ahead to the best of their ability. Not really finding a lot of success, though, either one. You see Leeka's eyes going over the play. It's going to get played, and Shararang is there. Not sure if they noticed or not, but here comes Bezelheim with the baby cage, stunning up who he can, and Leek's going to finish off Nova. Spirit Rush is going to come in from Tokushiro, and that's not going to be a JCQ, a lot of damage. It's going to be a killing spree for McTrump, and Bezelheim's going to be able to pop that hourglass, but it's only going to buy him a couple seconds for McTrump to buy, or get a second kill.
That's actually game over.
Oh, that's game over, 100%, right?
You cannot.
Jace is a blue.
Jace has a blue as well as being 4 kills deep against a Veigar Tristana. And the problem is that Veigar is against an AP lane, so if he goes Seeker's Arm Guard to protect against the Jace, he's getting killed by Ahri. And if he goes for the AP, if he goes for the Magic Resist to prevent dying to the Ahri, he gets killed by the Jace. So Bezel is put into a really tough situation of not being able to do anything. He doesn't have a jungler who can actually back him up because Sejuani wins the 2v2, and it feels like game over. Interestingly enough, Sion actually has a lead in the top lane. I guess he was able to farm while Yasuo TP'd bot lane, and that's how he got it, but it shouldn't have happened.
He does have like the slightest of CS leads, but we do see the Yasuo is 200 gold up on him. So having those two assists, you know, makes a little bit of a difference.
Not nearly enough.
Yeah, no, of course, it's not enough to be significant.
Especially if they sacrificed Inferno, because Ahri and Sejuani were handing off blue. That's just awful macro from P5. You guys got all those kills bot lane, you just backed. Oh my god.
We actually... Nova was able to pick that up. I was watching up the top lane while Persei and Klein were going back and forth a little bit. Klein was popping the ult there, but I'd actually not seen it. Was it a death sentence, I assume, that had stolen it, or...?
I'm on directed camera, so I saw the same thing.
Yeah, okay. That's unfortunate if,
based on Thresh not dying, it's probably a Q. Just blindly thrown in, steal it.
Yeah.
Wow, that is...
Wow! That is so much damage.
I told you, that's just game over. There's nothing they can do, especially after losing that Infernal. That's just game. It sounds really toxic to say that, but you'll just see the Jace Q poke out people from lane, and they'll slowly get bot tower, they'll get mid tower, they'll get top tower. But they didn't get Shelly again this game, and they've had the opportunity to. But you will see them get Baron at around, like, if I had to guess, the 23-minute mark, just being able to poke people out.
Yeah, Nova is clearing out some vision, and Shararang yet again trying to go for the sneaky bush play. We're seeing the caution ping, because Zyzo and Leek are sniffing something out. Something isn't quite right, and Again,
well, they've gone for it 3 times.
What is this? Third time's not the charm?
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Fool me 3 times, you're just a bad player. I mean, it hasn't worked a single time. Why are they going for it again? They will turn onto the Silas here. If they do get onto them before Sizo Leak step up, if they do step up, they lose. He's dead. They're dead. That's just...
Yeah, it's going to be a 3v3, and McTrump just absolutely blows up that Silas. Like you said, with no defensive stats, it is just not even a problem. Good flash play coming out from Nova, resulting in Zyzo being brought to safety, but a good hook lands right as the Tristana ult does, and McTrump is dominating, picks up another double kill down there in the bot side. 7-0, 15 minutes. Oh my god.
He has 2k in the bank. He's going to pick up power gold here, so he's going to have like 2,300 to spend. He finishes his Duskblade. He's like a third of the way through Phage already, through Black Cleaver. So he'll have 40% CDR 20 minutes in, just dealing with the QE to the face every 6 seconds. That's just not what you want.
Wait, did you see that by Klein just now?
No.
As Yasuo was taking out his pink right there, like the bush pretty close to Krugs, he just decided instead of letting Yasuo take the pink, he put one under his tower. Just to deny it. I swear to God, I just watched that happen.
That's cool. That's the only macro advantage ReBrand has gotten all game. You've seen Silas lose the 2v2 and 3v3 now against Sejuani 3 straight times, I want to say, and he has Runic Echoes with Sork Shoes. He is a confident player going for that, especially with Electric Cube. He has no defensives. He actually has less health than the Jace ADC who just poked him out in the fight. Interesting note.
Yeah, Jace QE was able to take out, what, 60% of his health there, and that's not even like anything else followed up from it.
Jinx actually just entered the game. That's crazy. I think he went to Jace QE just poked him out. Yeah.
Yeah, no, on this Silas, like you said, I guess it really is showing the importance of the defensive stats that you do need here. And Leak walking right up to first AQQ as a little bit of a fight goes over for this crab. It is going to go over to Tokushiro, and good Tokushiro flash is going to be able to land up the knockup. It's going to be a Yasuo ult as well. The final breath isn't going to find anything.
I'm shocked that great shade. Killing
yeah, he's landing all of his abilities, but not going to find anything. And that's going to be Sejuani landing that ult, and here it comes. Klein getting that shutdown to per se QQ. Zyzo jumping under tower to get that. Sejuani does finish off the kill, but jumps right into another tower. So that's going to be a few question mark things going down. They're really wondering, is that really who got me killed? And meanwhile, McTrump and Nova up in the top side do have this Rift Herald, trying to see if they can get this inhib turret.
Yeah, so you have your Tristana suicide because she's 3k gold behind a Chase ADC. That's not what you want to see. At all, actually.
No, yeah.
That's so bad. That Tristana can actually do nothing, and they picked a lane that was theoretically advantageous for them, but they didn't pick a jungler that could actually get them ahead.
Yeah, we did see a little bit of a play coming out from the side of ReBrand, though. Klein does pick up the kill on Nova, with both McTrump and Nova being a little bit too far in their jungle. Here comes Tokushiro to see if he can push Toxcan right back out of their own jungle, see if they can get some of the land back on their side. And otherwise, it might be a little bit of a siege mid here, and we do see Dragon coming up as well.
The only advantage ReBrand has is a 200 gold advantage on the bar. I laugh, but I feel bad because there's nothing. Yep, and here you see the great champion Silas getting picked off for the 4th time this game. A free dragon for them, and they will now shred Baron down. They'll be able to shred down powers, and there's honestly nothing Brand can do. If this was a solo queue game, your team would be FFing.
Yeah, honestly, with Tokushiro there, all it takes is one charm. Jace even tried to get the hammer form Q right in on him, but died even before he could fall onto the ground.
That's actually a bald comment from you, because he was not in hammer form. He was actually in range form. So again,
no, as he queued, I could have sworn I saw him like the hammer Q as he tried to finish off Tokushiro.
He was not in range to even get a hammer Q off.
I don't know.
You saw the QE come up. Charm was landed.
Whoa.
You see the touch go back.
Sejuani tries to go for the lantern. That almost results in a death of his. He's taking up so much damage.
That's a bait.
It is a bait. And
Silas, the great champion, dies for the 5th time. Wow, what a good champion.
Yeah, Toxscan himself is on a killing spree, and we're seeing McTrump, even though he's Zoom, he does have the blue buff, regenerating that mana, and Klein is all on his own. Bezel does manage to land that stun, but that's going to be a Trump cleanse. Knockback in Klein, and that's going to be one more auto is all it's going to need, and Toxscan is on a rampage. They do get the death sentence away, and Per se QQ taking off a little bit more than he can chew. Yeah, that's going to be one auto from the Undying passive there of the Scion. It's all it's going to take, and otherwise it looks like it's going to be just about it. Another QE coming out from Jace is going to result in a lot of damage onto the squishies of ReBrand. So this Jace is definitely a force to be reckoned with, and that's going to be a shutdown for Bezelheim on a Toxscan as well. Zyzo going in for... Yeah, no, that was suicide. I'm not quite sure what he was doing there. That was... You know, it's typically why in the SFL I never want to see Tristana, because that's all I ever see is just people jumping in without even thinking about it. And it did cost McTrump his flash. You know, he did use a summoner spell for it, but again, you're leading this guy to be 9-0 right now. He's backing with 3k gold and has a 1,000 gold bounty on his head. So, I mean, I understand the greed, but...
He's only, you know, 4 ahead of your ADC. It's really not that big of a deal. That's just, you know, a Bloodthirster or a Triforce plus a Longsword. That's not, you know, that much. He picks up the Mortal Reminder instead of the Black Cleaver for the cooldown reduction. I don't agree with that, but to each their own. I don't know who's healing on that team that you need to pick that up, because you kill the Silas before his W actually matters. And then Sion's not healing for anything. Tristana, she dies if you breathe on her. I think the Mortal Reminder is just a gold sink that you don't need to actually put anything into. You're still immensely strong, so it doesn't matter at the end of the day. But...
Yeah, I think at this point, when he's this far ahead, he can kind of just close his eyes, pick whatever he wants from the shop, and it's probably still going to be good on him.
Yeah, I think if he came back with a Rabadon's Death Cap, you'd actually see Tristana tremble in her Berserker's Greaves, but...
No, I probably would as well, and we're seeing that right now. Tokushiro on the Silas, not only is he 1-5, but picking up that Aether Wisp, we're still seeing no defense out of him, and Bezelheim getting chunked to less than half. Does get Nova trapped in the cage, but not really able to capitalize off of it, and Charm is going to land on a Silas, and that's going to be a Sejuani, and Trump is legendary, so that's going to be a 1-kill advantage for them while they walk up this mid lane. They do have Klein in the bot side as well, so this really should be a mid lane inner turret for P5.
Yeah, or Baron. They're jockeying around here doing nothing. Baron is an objective on a map that ReBrand has no vision on. If you're not going to go and do it, you have to get towered here and go and do it. And if you aren't going to do it, your team just gives up so much pressure unless the enemy team just walks into your fed team and dies like they're about to.
Yeah, Leakold does...
You're gonna see the Tristana W come forward in 3 seconds just for her to die. That's... Oh, God.
Yeah, Leak was able to set up the kill on the Nova there, so that was a good pickup for ReBrand and trying to pick up, you know, what little gold advantages they can, just the slightest things. But as you said, you know, neither team really seems interested at all in Baron, and we're seeing a little bit of a pause go down, so we'll have a quick few seconds to talk about it. But yeah, as you said, you know, neither team, again, not only are they not really prioritizing a lot of vision, but, well, I need to mute my game sounds because the scrying is on repeat if you pause, and I'm not going to listen to it for like the next 5 minutes, but...
Well, this game shouldn't go on for the next 5 minutes. But
well, no, the pause might. But you know, I've seen some SFL pauses, dude.
The way the game's going on, the pause should probably last longer than this game should have. But with the way they play it, it'll just go on for 5 minutes too long. It's really foolish for P5 to sit around mid like they were when ReBrand has no vision of them if they start doing the Baron. And if ReBrand does, they're in a choke where you have Sedge engage, you have the Ahri engage, you have the Jace QE, where they die if they start forward too far. And you have so many angles in which you can engage that. You can have Jace from mid lane, you can have Ahri from the Baron pit, and you can have Sedge from the river. There's really no way for ReBrand to actually stop the Baron fight, but the game's now unpaused, and we'll see what poor decisions they make after the unpause. They continue sieging mid. They get nothing for it.
Yeah, it is.
And they've continued to waste a mid. Alright, cool.
Yeah, ReBrand are doing the best they can to defend off the siege. Would you say per se QQ down here in the top or bottom side of the map, and Spirit Dash coming forward from Silas isn't going to do anything. Level 14 Yasuo to a level 11 Silas. isn't going to be anywhere close. We do see the static shift finish on the Yasuo, and he's working towards that frozen mallet as well. So going for a bit more defense as opposed to going for that Infinity Edge next. The JCQ isn't going to find anything, but we do see that Trump is just dealing so, he's being able to spam this QE over and over just with, mana cost is a thing at one point in this game, but really now he can just do whatever he wants and get away with it.
We'll see if Paragon 5, after picking up the second mount game, actually has the brain capacity of deciding they can go for the Baron here and just completely burst it down. I firmly believe they could actually kill Baron in like 7-8 seconds. ReBrand try and make the trade, but they can't. And then P5 makes the call for Baron with no vision. You might actually see a really bad fight. That's Vigar E wasted. They can look for an engage now.
Yep, Jace Poke wasn't able to find anything. Going very far aggressive. Jesus, almost like watching his Ezreal Arcane shifts with how aggressive he goes with his hammer stance there. And Yasuo going aggressive on a climb there, but just hardly tickling that Scion.
He got jealous that Triss W goes further than his Q does. So
oh yeah. Understandable, yeah.
Yeah. He's jealous that Tristan has killed 2 times this game by just Wing too far forward. So he just wanted to see if he could do it himself, and he gets away with it. It's a Sterix gauge on the not a frozen mallet.
Okay.
Why not just get a Trinity Force and just... Alright. I don't know, just kind of interesting item buys. He has 30 gold ahead like a...
I mean, speaking of interesting item buys, I mean, look at this. Again, I didn't want to flame the Silas jungle pick until I actually saw it, but even just with his, the poor guy only has about 7k gold, and he's working not only towards the Runic Echoes that he was able to finish, but he's still working on his Lichbane.
Yeah, it's actually mid lane Silas budget.
Yeah, it's awful. Like, he's not able to apply any pressure. Sejuani is able to land Glacial Prison after Glacial Prison, actually make a massive impact, while Tokushiro, anytime he tries to go in on someone, I mean, even if it's just a 1v1, he's just getting... I think the Thresh might actually have an opportunity at 1v1ing him at this point.
Yeah, this is the definition of insanity. He does not buy any tank items and continues to wonder why he's dying. I think he might... I hope he's just tilted and he just wants to go next and his team is just saying no. But I hate to just say that Silas jungle is bad because of results, but in theory the pick was also bad.
Hopefully we do see that. Actually, that's going to be Tokushiro stealing that Baron, the first thing he's done of the whole game, some might say, and a huge teamfight is coming out. Cyanol comes in as well. Good Q is going to knock out both McTrump and Shararang is being able to just get away as fast as he can. Warmog's armor should be able to kick in for some health regen. It's going to be Klein following up a flash with a flash, and Leak is here as well. We're going to maybe see the Zenith Blade as the Scion Q does get the slow off, and here it comes. Zenith Blade does land the Q, and McTrump is on the side here. Yeah, no, McTrump wasn't able to find anything. Bezelheim way too low to show his face to try to pick off that Sejuani, and Shararang so very tanky right now, being 1-3-11 on this Sejuani jungle right now. Having that Warmog's armor, now having a Kindle Gem, and just completely stacking armor. I mean, even though we were talking a lot about Tokushiro's presence this game and how he wasn't really able to do anything on the Silas jungle, picking up that Baron was huge.
Yeah, however, I think they'll only get 2 towers. See it turn into defense Baron. You will continue to see the Yasuo on the side of the game, especially with their T's being up at the starter at the same time. The other 4v4 they'll take on the map, actually, there's actually a chance ReBrand is still very much in this game. Sejuani's down a level, Ahri is down a level, and the bot lane is equal in level. If ReBrand forces a fight in the ability, they win if they don't play the Jace QE poke on P5. They should be able to just have 3 sit mid, 1 sit bot, and then Jace threaten from the side, but they don't appear to want to do that.
Yeah, Sion's walking right up to this Yasuo. Completely wastes his flash, and Windwall is going to block a lot of Tristan on it, but he's still getting very low. Nova is here to respond, and Bezelheim does land the cage down, does get the stun off on a Thresh, and a lot of damage coming out from the ultimate. Nova is going to fall to 9-line Klein. The Yasuo Q.
No vision!
Yasuo Q was able to pick off that Tristana jump without vision, as you said, and That's a pretty good pickup. Does allow him to stay alive, but two of the members of ReBrand are very low. Both Klein and Bezelheim hardly have just any health to sit with. Zyzo is full health, though, and they're going to start to walk up to the spot lane turret. Box does go down from Tokushiro. Zyzo getting very low into Glacial Prison. Is going to come out. Isn't quite going to find anyone.
He learned from Tokushiro.
And here comes Leak on the side. Not quite going to find anything. And getting that bot lane inhibitor, or bot lane inner turret is going to just be all they can get there while Dragon is about to respawn.
Yeah, so for the 4K gold lead, not even 4K, yeah, 4K gold lead you see on the Jace, Vigar actually has a 3K gold lead against the Ahri, then somehow Tokushiro now has a gold lead on the Sejuani, 2, 6, and 5, and 3, 11, and 1 gold. That's interesting. And they do have the capability. Oh no, sorry, that's P5 picking up the Infernal Dragon here. But if they continue going for it and they're in a bad position, they can just die.
Uh-oh, both Yasuo and Sejuani are stuck in the pit. Sejuani can get out, but Yasuo cannot. No Lancer for him. He does go up in the air. That is actually a kill for Per Se QQ on a Tokushiro, and Bezelheim going to avoid dying there in the Zonia's Hourglass, and he's quite going to just run out of that Jace QE there, looking very close for him, but with that one kill, they are looking to capitalize on it. It's 1-1 right now, so a 4v4 here in the mid lane to see what P5 can pick up.
Yeah, so if P5 didn't just abandon the pit like they did, they actually win that team fight and could have possibly gotten inhibitor tower. Instead, they just kind of left their Yasuo to die, and he did much better in that fight than they expected him to. But I don't know. I think that's just really.
I wish I had comms for that one. I want to hear comms for what happened there, because there's no way that Per Se wasn't just yelling at the top of his lungs like, "Team, what do you do? Hello? Help?" Because everybody else just had like an escape lane. No, they had the Thresh Lantern, Sejuani can Q over the wall, no problems there. But poor Yasuo just left all alone there, still doesn't have his flash up, still got about half the cooldown left on that, but does have his Infinity Edge finish, so he does have a lot more damage there, he does have the 100% crit chance, and with that Conquer, we'll see him doing a good amount of damage, but Trump is actually still deathless so far, 11-0 on this Jace.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job of himself dying to the bad champion that is Sylas. That's really the only champion that can get on to him, because even if Leona does, he has the cleanse to get out of it. There really should be no way for him to die. He shouldn't even be next to his team if the enemy team engages. He should just be poking from the side, completely keeping the other team incapable of engaging. But we don't seem to see P5 wanting to. Actually, I mean, no flame to them, but they haven't played the last 10 minutes intelligently. They had the opportunity to Baron. They lost it. They decided to take the 50-50. They lose Baron. They let ReBrand back into the game, holding the door actually open for them. And they just don't want to try and take ReBrand back out of the game with the Jace that they have. Ooh, unless he does that.
Yeah, no, sending your AD carry every single time. You got to keep in mind, Zyzo doesn't have fleet footwork. The only sustain he's going to have is that bloodline, and not having a Vampiric Scepter or any blood or any lifesteal of any sort there is going to, every time he gets poked by that Jace QE, he doesn't have it. He can't heal up. He doesn't have a Sorok or anything to help him.
Especially with the Mortal Reminder. Whatever little healing that Bloodline gives him, it's just completely negated. As much as I do hate the Mortal Reminder pickup, he does have 4 items completed boots, so he actually could sell the Lucidity boots, because that's just a pointless item now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's definitely overcapping on CDR right now, for sure.
Yeah, he can actually just pick up the Merc Treads, because he's at 50%. Plus, he might have taken Transcendence if he goes to build Igo, but I don't know, ADC Jace goes.
I couldn't tell you. I haven't played much AD carry Jace. I'm not too familiar with it. But I'd like to imagine, because he has all these cooldown reduction items, if he's not selling those Boots of Lucidity, that he has gone for Transcendence. It's a little annoying that I can't check right now, but
he's at 60%.
Oh yeah, no, he's
trying to play Earth Jace. This is the wrong game mode.
Yeah, wrong game mode for this. This is competitive Summoner's Rift, and we do see though.
Used loosely.
I guess loosely, but still used nonetheless. And we are seeing though Bezelheim, even though he's not popping off or anything over. He's 4-1-9. He's doing pretty damn well right now, and he has a substantial gold lead over Toxican.
Yasuo gets inhibitor here.
Yasuo gets inhibitor, and Lee trying to block that QE, and Baron is at about 8k health, and Noah trying to see if he can find a death sentence. And
it's now 7k. You have the engage onto a tank. You don't want that, but the Leona just dies. If they can find a Tristana in that bush, which I believe they might with the blue trinket. Yep. that's just a free inhibitor. If they can continue denying the backs, Yasuo might actually just be able to end.
Yeah, no,
the first back being started down onto the Sylas. You see the Sion TP, that's free Baron. You have to back. You see the Yasuo back up. You can actually force mid, or just go back to Baron and just kill the Veigar, Tristana, and consequently end of the game. This should be a free Baron unless some freak happens.
Bezel and Zyzo are here, and something's going to happen, but that is going to be Shawarang picking up that Baron, and I was a little scared there. That had to be sweating a little bit.
Veigar Q took Baron to 54 HP.
Actually, here comes Sionol trying to see if he can find Yasuo. Here comes Tokushiro as well. Silas being able to get that knock-up, and Final Breath is going to actually be responded by his own Final Breath, and this Yasuo is taking on the world. League misses the ult and gets that wind wall down so he can't get the Zenith Blade, and gets the double kill. He's playing out of his mind. He is just 1v4ing down there in the bot lane. Klein doesn't fall, but Bezelheim is there to respond. He can't continue with any more, but per se QQ popping off now on this Yasuo at 34 minutes in.
Yeah, actually, really interesting thing to note. He was 2-4-3 before. He hadn't had an opportunity to back after he got the inhibitor. He was actually sitting on 3.5 gold before. Oh, not 3.5k. He was 3.5k gold before that. He's been sitting in base now for 10 seconds. He doesn't know what to do.
He bought a full Bloodthirster. Like, he literally just, in one purchase, bought an entire Bloodthirster off that back.
Yeah, so we have seen that P5 doesn't have the best macro, but I believe their individual skill in the lane matchups have gotten them to the point where no matter what they do past this point, they just win, considering they win in the solo lane, they win in the 4v4 lane, as long as they don't overstep their bounds. So you could actually do, I know I keep saying this, but I just love the 1-3-1 if you can do it properly. But there's actually no point. You can just one full Yasuo on the side lane, 4 in the mid lane. There's nothing you can do. You have Baron.
Oh yeah.
You just need to make sure that the lanes get to tower at the same time, which they don't seem to be doing yet. Actually, really poorly.
Oh my god, Zyzo almost getting one hit by McTrump on the Jace there, and does have his Guardian Angel finish. It does give him a little bit of a safety net, as well as Toxicant's Banshee's Veil to prevent him from getting insta-bursted by this very, very fed Veigar, even though the team altogether is behind as a whole. But we do still see, 4-1-9 on this Veigar. He does have 14k gold, and he has, nearly about 800 AP, so he has so much damage still coming out from this Veigar, but they need to be able to get in the proper team fights and get them started with this Leona and with the Sion. But right now we see that, as you said, the 1-4 right now, we see Yasuo in the solo lane, able to push off Klein without any effort, and they're just walking up this mid lane for their second inhib.
See the 4 rotate top here. You'll see a last second fight break out.
Oh man, Shawarang ult does go very wide, and Leek's gonna get charmed up there, and Noah's gonna find a death sentence on a Tokushiro, and does manage to get the play off into many members as he can. And that's gonna be per se QQ on a killing spree, picking up Leek there. Leona falling down, and Shawarang is trying to find Klein, and there goes Zyzo being blown up by Trump, and that's gonna be a triple inhib, and that's gonna be game for Paragon 5. The second game is gonna go over to them. That's gonna put us to a game 3.
I look really forward to the draft coming out of Game 3, because it appears Trump is willing to play unique champions, but I want to see a team actually play meta champions. Sylas jungle is just so abysmal, and Sion top, although good, is not good enough block. QQ, who's willing to play Yasuo, champions like that. I think small little changes can be made to just make their win conditions much better.
Yeah, absolutely.
All around good game from P5. They got the win they got the lead really early, 20 minutes, and I thought it was just game over. Just Tokushiro doing as much as he can on a really bad champion, stole the Baron, tried to get ReBrand back into the game, but I think they didn't realize how close they were. Because if they stalled out for like 5 more minutes, they actually win the team fight. They didn't. They lose the team fight. They lose the Baron. They lose like 2 more dragons. And it's just game over at that point when you have a fed Yasuo on a side lane. You also have a Jace who's just pounding you in.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely. I mean, this Jace, again, not only is Trump able to play something a little bit weird that maybe we don't see as popularly in the bot lane like this Jace, but not only is he willing to pick it, he's willing to dominate on it. Didn't even die a single time that entire game. And again, just being able to blow up both the Veigar and the Tristana. I don't even think Tristana towards the end there, like if you don't have lifesteal for so very long, you get poked out by one of those J skill shots, and it's over. You're gonna get just absolutely blown to smithereens. You have to recall. You don't have fleet footwork. You have your bloodline, but that's just, as you said, it's not gonna help you enough. It's not gonna be enough to get you through that massive amount of damage. But before getting into game 3 here, we are gonna take just a little bit of a maybe 5-minute break or so. Not even, I don't think, as before we get into game 3. So for those of you watching, don't go anywhere before we go right into game 3 of Paragon 5 versus ReBrand. Alrighty, I hope you're excited as me, Coyote, because we're in the last game of the night. This is game 3 of Paragon.
Yeah, Mike may have been...
Here, wait, actually, speak like a full sentence again real quick, just so I can make sure you're real good.
Yeah, my mic should be cutting out.
Yeah, it'll still cut out for now, but I think as long as you speak loudly enough, I think it'll be okay.
I can just turn down sensitivity.
Something like that, I don't know. Just so everyone can hear you well enough, but otherwise, we do see the Vladimir and the Jace being taken away, so we're not going to see McTrump on Jace again. I think that pretty much had ReBrand shaking in their boots from that performance. It was pretty devastating.
It should be a little bit better. I turned down the pickup a little bit less.
Okay,
so
awesome.
if I'm a little bit louder, you might want to turn down the stream.
I think you're okay, but I'll let you know.
Okay. Am I still cutting out?
You're good so far, but I'll let you know.
Okay. Alright, so we see the same bands from last game coming out from P5. They're confident. Shoot. The Braum was not banned from ReBrand this game. They opted for the Jace ban. They kept the Lucian and Tom Kench ban. I want to see an Urgot top lane from Per Se QQ. If not, we see the Thresh come out. I don't want to see a Sylas this game.
If I have to see another Leona pick versus the Thresh, I'm going to get a little upset, I'll be completely honest.
They pick away the Sejuani, which I'm okay with. I do actually want to see the Xin Zhao, maybe? I know I've been saying that every game, but I do really want to see the Xin Zhao. I'm also willing to see a more unique jungler like an Ivern come out, who I think is really good. Or you could also see, especially with McTrump, actually, yeah, oh my lord, pick Ivern. And then you can just carry Trump. Trump can carry you, because you just sit there and camp him. That's actually very scary from ReBrand.
Mm-hmm.
You should see Morgana pick from... Oh, they can't pick Morgana.
I was about to say, they've already got the Thresh, so yeah, having both Alistar and Sejuani for that huge frontline engage is going to allow ReBrand to maybe set up a few more things than Paragon 5 is maybe anticipating. They're going to respond with their own frontline engage of their own, that being the Zac.
Yeah. It appears both teams just want to sacrifice the first 15 minutes. Which I'm perfectly okay with, just to make for entertaining matches. Oh, sorry, excuse me. I want to see an aggressive mid lane or top lane pick here. Okay with Ahri, she can ult in level 6 and get Charm. You'll probably see a safe pick here as Retaliation. You might see the Vigar again or the Orianna that you saw hovered. It won't be a Ribbon pick.
Yeah, they keep hovering it. They think it's funny, but I don't think they have the balls to do it. I think it is going to be an Orianna from Veselheim. I think that again,
Orianna's really. They actually pick the Jhin.
Really? That's not what I anticipated. So they actually are locking in that bot lane. That's gonna allow them to have 2 bans versus McTrump at least.
Yeah, but they have no way of killing a tank. What their plan is? Good luck. You could see. I know I keep saying this, but Urgot is just the best top laner right now, and neither team has picked it. And it's made it through pick ban every single game.
Yeah, that is a little confusing. I'll agree with you on that one. That is a little strange.
I really want to see the Urgot pick actually come out, and if I don't, I'll be shocked. Because it would, I mean, it works really well into any team because it's just a really strong pick.
No, of course.
If not, sorry, I just read chat. I think banning away Jace is just a bad idea. They ban away the Ezreal and the Yasuo. Trump can play like a Vayne and just completely shred apart that team, especially the Alistar, and that would just completely devastate them. They actually ban away the Ribbon Hover. Oh my god. Alright, so that's a throwaway ban coming from P5.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what McTrump picks up here. Like you said, the Vayne is available, but, having something like a Vayne Thresh, unless they... McTrump is the type of player that says, okay, I can take care of myself. If I pick something like Vayne or Jinx or some sort of, really super hyper carry, then I think he is the type of player that doesn't need a Jan or a Lulu kind of just sucking him off the whole time. I think he can take care of himself, so I wouldn't be surprised if they picked it up here. We do see Veselheim going for that Orianna, something that's very safe. He's quite good on it as well, so he's... no stranger to it. We're actually going to see McTrump instead of no hyper carry or anything like that, but just very safe, very common
okay.
being the Sivir.
I'm okay with it. Into Sejuani Alistar having the spell shield as an option is just they pick the Kai'Sa, so they well actually they did pick the Kai'Sa.
Yep.
So they are opting into the hyper carry McTrump. You will see Showerang probably go for Cinderhawk into the Knight's Vow like he did the first game, except on Zac this time. And I think if they do that and they get McTrump maybe 2 kills in lane, that he'll just be insanely good.
I think it would be much better for them to do that strategy on the Zac.
Picking Fiora is really bad.
That's ballsy. That is ballsy for sure, and I'd like to see what Klein decides to...
Well, you could pick like a Yorick. You could pick a Vladimir's band. You could pick a Yorick. You could pick, let's say...
How much are you going to lose your shit if they pick Urgot?
I'll be really happy if they pick Urgot. If they pick Silas here, I'll cry.
I really hope it's not. I don't want to see that again either. They're actually going for the... is that a Kleptomancy Frost Cannon, maybe?
Hot fixed. Nope.
Really?
Yeah, it got hot fixed.
I didn't think that actually went through just yet.
If not, it'd be really bad for Kennen to go, because 99 Klein is a good player, but he's not good enough to space properly against a Fiora.
Mm-hmm. And you were talking earlier when you had talked to me, at least at some point, talking about Jace and Kennen as champions. So I'm dead serious. We see a Kennen in this game, like just to kind of just echo back what you had pretty much said to me earlier, like your thoughts about Kennen specifically. No, I'm like dead serious.
So I think this game, considering all the picks on the other team, you're okay with picking the Kennen because there's only one champion that's going to build a Zanya's. However, if you saw more AP champions who build Zanyas, you wouldn't have seen him. My problem with him is you alt, and it has to be telegraphed from a mile away. And by the time you're on the enemy team, you'll have a lot of champions using their Zanyas to avoid your ulti, or you'll have a lot of champions just getting out of your ulti, which Ahri has an ult to get away, Fiora has a Q to get away, she also has a W to counter stun you. And there's also a Thresh with Lantern, and there's also Kai'Sa ult. So actually, I don't think Kennen will do very well this game unless he gets like 1-2 good clean flanks. I think if you pick a different champion with an AoE ulti, he does what Kennen does, but better. I disagree with Kennen as a champion and team picking it. I think there's champions in the game that do Kennen does, but better, such as an Urgot.
Yeah.
Urgot is just a better champion through and through. He wins lane more consistently. He's just more safe top lane. You try and gank him, you can turn a gank. You gank him, it's worth it. You can propel him to his 2-item power spike. Kennen has a 2-item power spike, but it involves him hitting his ER. It's just not good. It's not good.
All right, so just again, same thing as game 1. I didn't do it for game 2 because I had forgotten. But for game 3, for the deciding game of this series, based off the compositions, based off the players and their performances we've seen so far, in less than a minute, because we got this minute and 30 left, who do you think's going to win and why?
P5, McTrump gets 2 kills in lane. Showerang picks up an early Knight's Vow, and they just play through McTrump and win, and they have no real way of shutting him down. Because even though... actually, let me rephrase that. I think it's 65% chance that P5 wins this game. ReBrand wins this game if Orianna puts the ball on a Sedge, Ali, Kennen even, maybe, and they get a good AoE ulti. They go for the AoE comp that I believe they went for game 1, and they had no idea how to execute it. So I feel like they're going to fail to again, and you're going to have per se QQ sit in the split push the entire time and just shred the team apart.
I want to say that, again, for the most part, I think in a lot of Paragon 5 games, they do rely heavily on McTrump, but seeing the Fiora and the Ahri pick, it kind of tells me that, even though, yes, no matter what your composition is, it doesn't change the fact of, who your most valuable players are in terms of who's going to bring, like, the most solo carry potential to the rest of the game. But besides, the Zac of the front line and the Thresh that's able to, land hooks on maybe the Orianna or the Jhin, but, hooking anyone else really isn't a huge option for Nova. And then meanwhile on the other side, I'd want to, in terms of who I'd say, I want to say Paragon 5 just because I don't like ReBrand's composition at all. Like you said, even though they have the AoE advantage in a team fight, how often in like the SFL do we ever see not even a TP flank, even that's fucking too advanced, like even just a flank we never really see too. I think the last series I had casted, I think I saw one of the first flanks I've ever seen casting any of these games. So unless Klein, like, it has to be so well choreographed and it has to be so well communicated throughout the entire team, at least I think, for ReBrand to actually be successful with this composition. I don't say that in like a again, if you took away all the players' names and I was just looking at nothing but champions, it's still the same way how I'd feel. I wish that there was... I like every single pick on Paragon 5 except for the Fiora. And I couldn't actually give you an exact reason into why. I mean, I like a melee into range matchup is obviously going to be a pain. We do see that Kennen did take the Kleptomancy. But I think everything else is good, and I think it's nice that they had the Zac for the engage. You know, he does show that he likes tanky junglers, he likes providing that utility from the Knight's Vow, and all other stuff like that. But I think the only thing that's sticking out like a sore thumb is per se QQ's pick. But again, we still have to see, you know, how the game rolls out.
I strongly disagree with you.
Really?
Yeah, so you have one of the strongest split pushers in the game. So you're gonna have Fiora sit in the side lane, completely taking Kennen out of team fights.
Mm-hmm.
So you force one of the biggest AoE ultis in the game, and for this team to not even be with their team. That's huge.
Yeah.
Especially when he proved that he can win split push pretty consistently based on last game. So I'm okay with the Fiora pick because it's scales into one of the strongest picks. You could have also seen maybe a Jax pick, and that would have turned out really well as well. I'm happy he didn't opt to play for a tank or Sylas.
Just not liking that Sylas pick, huh? Oh, look, Zyzo's actually finally joined the party. He wasn't there that entire time in the bush. That's interesting.
I can't put into words how much I despise that champion. And the problem that I have with ReBrand's ultis, I don't think they could find each other in a convention for short people if they were the only people who are 7 feet above. So I don't think they'll be able to find a way to actually couple all of their ultis together. I don't see it happening, and I see them slowly crumbling. I think the lanes from P5 will get slight advantages, and you'll just see it slowly just destroy ReBrand from the inside. But you know, we'll have to see. I didn't check. Yeah, so it's just regular Kennen. It's not Spell Thieves.
You know, I was expecting a little something, even if it was hotfix. You know, some people like myself, you know, may not pay attention to when those hotfixes go through. But I'm really hoping that Shaoreng is actually able to utilize the Zac well enough. I think one of the best advantages that Paragon 5 has against ReBrand right now is that if Jhin opens up that curtain call, you know, if Zac is able to not only get that slingshot onto the Jhin, but if Kai'Sa can get the killer instinct there as well, that could be a Zyzo completely just dead from the back lines, and you can't really do anything about it. So it's going to rely on the Alistar to try to, you know, headbutt away that Zac and try to deny any sort of engage that, you know, the Zac will try to lay down. And as you said, I think Fiora is just going to be that, you know, nonstop split push pressure. I can't imagine them actually having full-on 5v5s, and if they are going to be 5v5s, it's probably going to be 30, 40 minutes in the game if the game even lasts that long. So I think it's going to be up to, you know, as you said, the top players are going to do their own thing. You know, it's going to be the Kennen versus, you know, matching the Fiora, and it's mostly going to be the Zac, Ahri, Kai'Sa, Thresh versus the Sejuani, Orianna, Jhin, Alistar.
Yeah, you see P5 taking the tactical bathroom break pause.
Mm-hmm.
The game is now resuming. I want to see how minutes 1 through 5 develop.
Yes.
You have Sejuani starting topside again, but she probably won't do anything with it based off of last game. You have Zac starting bot side, whose clear is much slower, I believe, than Sedge's, right?
I'd say so, yeah.
So you might actually see Sedge be able to pull off double Scut and just tear apart Zac, but we'll see. Because Zac really can't do anything until maybe level 4 or 5 when his E gets a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm. We're seeing both junglers, though, starting on the red side, and Tokashiro, just about every game, I'm kind of seeing the same exact path of, you know, red Krugs and walks up to the top side of the map, sees if he can get a gank off, and if not, just goes for the Skull Crab down there in the top side river. So I can expect that to see that exact trend again. We do see the Zac on the Raptors as well. So maybe be able to move up or to his blue, pick that blue up, and see if he can beat Sejuani at that crab, which again, happening almost every single game. And when you do have these jungler routes that are so predictable and they're just, being repeated over and over, you really should, as a team, be able to take advantage of that, try to, get that deep vision down, see if you can kind of, if you can even just get where he starts, you can probably tell what's going to happen, and Toxian landing a good charm on a Bezelheim there does take him to about half.
Was winning the early game, but with that single trade, he actually goes a pot down.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, all it takes is that one charm. It's incredible.
Another unfortunate thing is we do see maybe like 4 champions with the capability of having movements forward with abilities that will probably get them killed later on in the game.
Fights are going all over the map, and McTrump flashes very far forward. The Ignite is ticking on Leek, but not quite going to find him. If Nova has a death sentence, he might be able to get Leek. He flashes forward for the Flay instead, and that's going to be first blood over to McTrump, and it's not the double kill as you predicted, but it's a kill.
And that's game over if they actually play that lane properly. You should see the Zac just babysit that lane. If you don't, there's something wrong in P5's communications. Because there's no point, I mean, you could get the Fiora ahead, but it's still a Fiora into a range matchup. And then you can get the Ahri ahead, because it is a counter pick to the Orianna. And Orianna didn't go cleanse, so I would have liked to have seen the Zac actually gone vertical, gotten his red, go to Sejuani's blue, just control the bot side. Sacrificing that forces him to just stay in his own jungle and not really do anything.
Yeah, we see him finally.
He does go for the engage here, but he gets. Yeah, he'll end up getting nothing.
Yeah, lands the Q, but not quite going to find the slingshot, and Fiora's going to get stunned up there. So just going to go farm under his tower, and even though per se QQ is quite low compared to the Kennen, he's still got a substantial CS lead, about 11 up on this Kennen so far. And
yeah, Kennen's CSing like he's in Bird Box. Really can't get much done.
All right, I'll give you that one. That's fine.
I feel like he's
Ooh.
Fiora did try to predict the stun, doesn't. She might die for this.
Yeah, walking away, does have her flash available, but Klein, just trying to get one more auto, and it's not quite going to find the damage he wants. And Nova landing a good play on a Leak yet again, and does get the death sentence. About half his health is taken for that, so.
Yeah, Fiora just back. She TP's to lane. She doesn't miss out on much. An aggressive TP, but Kennen can't punish it, because if he does, the Fiora will just W. You actually see him walk back. He's scared.
Mm-hmm.
You will see the Zac link for the engage here. Bezel does take a turret shot. He is in critical range. If he gets the Q off here, Orianna just dies.
Does get the Q off, but Ahri has no mana, not able to follow with any damage of her own, and Bezelheim's able to just kite this out with auto attacks. Can't really do anything, and Tokushira's on the bot side of the map to not respond either, so.
Really unfortunate.
Drake lands yet another Zac Q on a Bezelheim, but it's not going to result in anything. Both mid laners are so they can hardly use any ability, and here comes Tokushira landing the W on a Zac, but Slingshot's just going to send him to safety.
Kennen refusing to back. He knows he's already down in CS. He can't afford to lose anymore, but I would like to see him maybe pick up a BF sword. He could actually maybe learn how to last it if he does. Until then, he'll just continue sacrificing waves he doesn't need to. I believe he lost 3 minions that last group of 5. If he continues doing that, there's no point picking the Kennen. I mean, it does get made up with Klepto, but not enough where offsets it if it continues happening. And if he continues eating forward like that, he'll get punished eventually. He has to be careful with the way he's playing. He already knows Zac looked once, Zac can easily look again.
He's playing very aggressive, but Tokushira is on the side here with them, so clearing out that pink ward, and Fiora's looking pretty scared right now, because Zac, on his brace right now, and Leak is going to get hit up by that death sentence.
Top. Yep.
Gets rooted up by Zyzo, and Zyzo got the second shot, has the fourth shot available with Ignite ticking on him, bouncing grenade, and decides to go for the bouncing grenade instead of getting that fourth shot off first. I don't quite think he would have died from that damage, but probably would have been a lot lower, and Leak seeing if he can walk up, and
the dive.
Yeah, it's going to be Alistar going for the Hex Flash, doesn't quite get in headbutt range, but that is going to result in both Leak and Zyzo having a little bit of priority here in this lane so far, with Nova being so low, but McTrump does have a little bit of a CS lead despite being pushed out of this lane for the most part.
Yeah, Kennen has actually restabilized the lane, and he will take a CS lead as well as a mass experience lead.
And here comes Shaharang walking right onto the pink ward and says, I don't care, lands the Q on Alistar, gets him down, gets the knock-up off, but going to get rooted up by the Jhin. Leak does have the E active, and Death Sentence is going to find him, so nothing quite's going to happen, but we're actually seeing, as you said, that Zac is starting to show some pressure down this bot side, and I think I'd have to completely agree that that's where he needs to continue spending a lot of his time and resources, is getting the guys ahead.
Yeah, and he can now look mid. You see Bezel, he's pushing out mid. You'll see the wave like maybe 2/3 in lane in a matter of like 30 seconds. If he goes mid, Bezel just dies. Because Ari now has access to her ulti, she has flash, and she also has the ignite. If he just hits a single E, nothing Orianna can do. Unless she Qs the wave and completely ruins the... Oh my lord. The minion wave was pushing into her, but she just ruined the push with her Q. That's just abysmal. She could have set it up for the Zac to gank and an easy kill on Bezel, but instead doesn't.
Yeah,
Shame.
minion wave management is important, especially when you're trying to set up these junglers to gank you and actually get some sort of lead. You know, you can't really beg for jungle camp and then not set up your wave to allow them to do so. And Per Se is going a little bit aggressive with that Q to the cannon and seeing a lot of damage back and forth. He's not able to get any vitals, and he's sent about to half health. And Kennen got 100 gold from that most recent gold sack, so that Klepto paying off for sure.
Yeah, so even though he did miss the waves early, he has been able to deny Fiora enough gold and get good enough RNG from Klepto. And Ari just dies here.
Yeah, it's going to be a good shockwave, but Spirit Rush to safety is going to allow Toxcan to go under his tower, and here comes 9-line Klein. Does have his ult available, and that's going to be Per Se QQ down for the count. A solo kill for 9-line Klein.
Yeah, so 9-line Klein... I wonder if he went for like a wit's end here, what would actually happen? Because just throwing in auto attacks to Fiora could easily push her out of lane, especially when you're 2 levels up. I would love to see some sort of auto attack pressure, because their ReBrand is 1k gold up. They have a huge CS lead mid. Holy. Yeah, that's bad. Zac needs to look mid. Ari beats that matchup. She shouldn't be losing it like that.
Just from what I've been watching with this mid lane here, anytime that the ball is anywhere near her, Bezelheim is definitely having the big dick of the lane here, and anytime there's even a chance of, you know, the command attack getting close to her, you know, she's just so very far back in the lane to sacrifice so much CS, as we can see, being 30 CS down, and not only CS, but XP as well, level 7 to level 8, and that's a very important number to notice. And
yeah, you see a deficit top lane, you see a deficit mid lane, you see a slight advantage bot lane, but there's only so much that a Kai'Sa can do if your solo laners don't want to win the game.
I think something that's interesting with so far McTrump having this 1 kill, and actually meanwhile Per Se QQ on the top side is getting very low to this Kennen yet again, and slicing Maelstrom is not up, but the E is, and he's gonna
has flash.
Yep, flashes forward, and that's gonna be Klein's 2nd kill off onto this Fiora, and we actually see Lee going a little bit far forward as Nova clears that ward, and he's gonna decide to opt out of it. Decides to avoid that death sentence with the headbutt, and we actually see something I thought was pretty interesting was Kai'Sa, with the 1 kill that she does have, is actually going for that Infinity Edge first, so we might see a Infinity Edge and a double Zeal item type of fully crit Kai'Sa build, as opposed to the, you know, maybe we'll see a Guinsoo's later on, or, you know, if he does decide to, I can't imagine him to go for the full-on Nashers or even more AP, but
holy shit, they went for the bot side gank again. It hasn't worked. Why do you keep going for it? You have Zac wasting his time. Sejuani's allowed to force pressure mid now. You are even further behind than she is. It's just, it's frustrating watching a team go for something over and over again, and they haven't necessarily gotten punished for it, but the pressure they get mid, they definitely do get punished. Because if Orianna or Sedge landed ult here onto the Ahri, she's just dead. Oh, nice way of putting it.
Yeah, for the most part, and otherwise, like you said, we do see Shararang going back to this bot side over and over, but with the position that Leek and Zyzo are in, every time the Zac is there, even if it wasn't warding, you know, he's sitting on a ward, so it's completely telegraphed, and he's going to try his luck mid lane, does land the Q off onto Bezelheim, and Bezel's going to be popping that stock watch. Yep, and that's going to result in Zac landing a very good ult under the tower for Bezelheim, and it's going to result in him falling to Toxican, so it's going to be 2-2 right now, so even though the gold is still in favor of ReBrand, it's about even in kills.
Yeah, so Sejuani has now taken Wolves and blue buff now from the Zac. He's gonna look to exact revenge, but he's
exact revenge. That's pretty funny. 4-shot is actually gonna land on a Nova. Not a lot of damage is coming out though. Trump does get the heal off. He's gonna get stunned up by the Alistar, but Killer Instinct is sending him far forward. But Zyzo is so very healthy compared to McTrump right now, and doesn't quite find the root, but Nova's going to be death sending that mini. Here comes the curtain call. 1 shot misses, but Knockup's going to land that 2nd shot. 3rd shot's going wide, but where's the 4th one going? That's going to be Trump flashing in front of Nova, saving his life, landing another death sentence, and Zyzo brings the heal out. Doesn't have the bouncing grenade, not quite going to land the root, but beautiful save by McTrump.
Oh my lord, I'm actually speechless right now.
I haven't seen something like that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, so that's what an actual good ADC looks like. I know you might not see it from your point of view.
No, I'm taking, dude. I've got the notepad out. I'm scribbling. You just can't really hear me, so I'm jotting down notes, dude. Because if there's anyone to learn from, it's McTrump for sure.
I mean, compare his game.
Oh no, Zyzo went back for the 4th shot on the turret. He's not quite gonna get hit by this death sentence, but McTrump is gonna be on a killing spree. I don't know what was that decision making. I think he was maybe going for the 4th shot, get some movement speed to run out of lane, but he actually just suicided right there. And right now, ReBrand's bot lane is 0-3, and Kai'Sa's 3-0. And Xiaoreng is looking for more, but with Tokushiro and Leak there, he's gonna take his way out on that lantern, and McTrump's gonna have to recall. Again, 3-0 right now. He's gonna back with 2k gold on this Kai'Sa.
Yeah, we remember what happened last time McTrump got a killing spree. It was just kind of bad news bears. Sejuani scared of her shadow, not wanting to cancel Zac ulti, or Zac back, I understand. But Zac again ganking bot lane for the 3rd time. He did ease a lot of pressure off his mid lane. He's doing exactly what he needs to. The only unfortunate thing is Fiora in the top lane. She hasn't died recently, and she's sort of equaling out the lane, but she has no Ninja Tabby, no MR. She's just going to slowly lose that lane the longer she stays in it. She needs some sort of reprieve.
Here comes Xiaoreng yet again, trying to get Bezelheim, and Spirit Rush is going to go forward. Shockwave is going to land, but Spirit Dash back is going to allow Toxian allow that last orb, and Nova getting caught out. 4 members of ReBrand are picking off this Thresh, and no flash available for him to get out, and Zyzo 4 shot is available, but Tokushiro is going to finish that off before he can actually get that shot off.
So we can actually talk about why that Dragon take was such a bad idea from ReBrand. They are slightly ahead in the game, and it's an Ocean Drake. The problem is you're playing against a Kai'Sa who scales much better than a Jhin does. By taking the Ocean Drag...
Yeah, Slicing Maelstrom is going to pretty much send... Oh, Persec Q going so low, but the Flash W is going to land from Tokushiro. Does get that Q dash away, and just not enough damage to finish him off. Very good, sidestep there by Fiora, but it's just not going to be enough. And that Ken is 3-0, and Zackle is coming, but doesn't bring the 2 members of ReBrand with him, and Killer Instinct isn't quite in the position that McTrump wants to be in. Leak is going to be able to stun up Xiaoreng there at that last auto bop. There he goes, going to get stunned. Bouncing grenade, but McTrump is on a rampage. Yep, still has passive. He does have that safety net. You even have the 4-0 Kai'Sa with the red. Meanwhile, Curtain Call does come out, but...
You are now ulting a Zac who still has passive up. Interesting. Yeah, so I want to talk about the Dragon. It's a really bad take from ReBrand, because Ocean Drake does not allow the Kai'Sa to scale as well. By taking it, you reset the Dragon, and it's an Infernal, right? So if Kai'Sa picks that up, it's game over for you, and you reset it yourself. Where if you just deny that Dragon for as long as possible, you actually increase your team's win percentage.
That is actually a very good point to notice, and again, it's those small missteps that could make a significant difference later on in this game, depending on who picks up this Infernal. And so far, you know, 9-line Klein.
Paragon 5.
Yeah, no, for the most part, you know, this Kennen up in the top lane is able to consistently push the Fiora out of lane. The Fiora is remaining even in CS, or like still a little bit behind in CS, but you know, as even as she can be, you know, at being 0-3 right now. But the rest of it, or her team is being able to pick up the slack. 2-0 so far with Toxcan on the Sari, and 4-0 for McTrump. And you know, there's the only hope right now is for 9-line Klein to get some items, and it's going to be a 2v2 here in the mid lane. Xiaoreng is actually not quite going to stop the Toxcan falling, and that's going to be a shutdown for Bezelheim. So that's actually going to be a good amount of gold over to him while they try to pick off this mid lane outer turret. A lot of damage is falling onto the Zac, but him having that passive up. Yep, the Ignite does go down from Bezelheim. They're trying to finish off the last bit of damage. The AoE can come out, and that is... Yep, it's going to be a second kill for Bezelheim, but it's going to result in tower being...
Shutdown?
No, it's going to result in the first tower being taken mid lane. Here comes another Slicing Maelstrom. Kennen does not have his E available, but does have his flash available. And now he decides to flash forward instead of with his ult. A little bit strange, and not deciding if he wants the tower or the kill instead of both. So does result in getting that top lane outer turret. You do get the mid lane outer turret as well. So 2 turrets in the favor of ReBrand right now is looking a bit good for him. But again, they have so many threats to worry about.
Yeah, so Dragon's not up for another minute 50. You have time to get the Kennen bot side with the Fiora to give your bot lane an actual advantage. And then you could possibly take the Dragon, but as long as you keep this duo bot lane, you can't take Dragon because you have the Kai'Sa bot side. So you need to see ReBrand rotate the cannon down, keep the bot lane down here as well, force the Fiora to go top to answer it.
Oh no.
Or you can just go in Rift Herald.
Yeah, they are definitely inting Rift Herald. We do see Furusei QQ catching up with those vitals, does manage to get the amount of attacks.
Oh, that's a really good Zanya's. Use it when 3 people are around you.
Yeah,
Great.
3 people are around you. That's going to be 750 gold over to that Fiora. That's a massive gold swing over to her, and even though she's still about 1,200 gold down, it's still just the little bit of leads that she's picking up, and with the Tiamat, she's able to just continue split pushing and accumulate her items. Does have, working on the Ravenous Hydra. Hopefully we'll get that Trinity Force sooner rather than later, and Tokushiro was able to get that Rift Herald, but at what cost?
Ooh, we see the crit coming out there. That's a missed W. That's game over.
And McTrump is being able to shred this Alistar so very early on. Again, does have this Infinity Edge finish, and with this pickaxe, yeah, we'll have to see, what he decides to go for this pickaxe. It could be Ginso's, it could be Essence Reaver. I don't know what type of, weird crit build he might be going for. Death Sentence is going to go. I'll see when I see it, but I don't know with McTrump, dude. If he's going for the full crit, All right, I believe you.
Alright, thank you. Alright, trust me, I'm actually play ADC unlike you.
I don't know about that one. Like I said, I think with McTrump knowing how much damage he can do with crit, and if he actually does pick up that 20% cooldown reduction from the Essence Reaver, it does allow him to cycle through his Q more often, does get his E up more often, and not going to be able to have any attack speed. Doesn't have the Berserker Greaves or
casting a
Reaper
slingshot,
Bow.
doesn't use it, he is scared. Doesn't, you see, 5 people being brought down bot lane. They are looking to use the Rift Herald. They should rotate to Dragon here, knowing that it lands.
That is a good death sentence, and here comes a slicing Maelstrom. Does stop up Shadowring, who's on the back lines, and that's going to be a 4th shot. Zyzo picking up that kill on the Zac, and here comes the Fiora, though. Death sentence is landing on to Sejuani, and it looks like the rest of the members of ReBrand are looking to get out of there. Charm lands on the leak, but not a lot of damage is going to come out with him. Ulted Curtain Call. It's coming out 1 shot, 2 shot. Nova's getting only hit up. The 3rd shot coming in. The Sejuani tells me he's going to slow him, but 4th shot is going to hit McTrump, and a death sentence landed by Nova is going to result in a kill. Veselheim going down, and the 3 remaining members of ReBrand just need to get the hell out of there. There's still 4 members of Paragon 5, and this game is still just going back and forth and back and forth.
Oh my god, please don't go for Dragon here. You don't have the capability of doing so. Alright, well, we see ReBrand going for Dragon here. This is going to end really poorly for them. Yep, they know it is. Oh, no, I thought they were smart enough to back up. They're taking it anyways. Apparently, P5 doesn't actually care about winning the game, just sacrificing it. Hurting my brain.
Yeah.
You see the Thresh going for the hook to steal it away again.
Yeah, no, it happened once before. You may as well go for it again, and that is actually going to be the 2nd Dragon over for ReBrand right now, and even though they do have very fed carries, P5 isn't able to pick up these neutral objectives that they very desperately need.
The only saving grace for P5 is that the next Dragon is also an Infernal. If they can just negate the effects of that one, then they're okay. If they lose Infernal, it's game over. They have the Trump. Yep, that's exactly what they have. They have the Kaisa, played by Trump, getting propelled like you need her to. And shocker, she's going to Ginsu's like I said she is, not the
200 Q, I don't know, dude. Hey man, with Kai'Sa having a 45% win rate, I just assume that, people are just trying their hearts out to figure out what can actually work on her with the 80 carry revert, so hey man, we had Frostfang top lane, I've seen crazier shit, dude.
Frostfang top lane actually isn't that crazy. I think there is crazier stuff that can be played top lane that is yet to be actually utilized in a lot of leagues. But we'll see it come out slowly after the Frostfang nerf. You sort of saw it with Zillion. I think people are slow to catch on to the new meta. I think top laners are actually, especially older ones, are scared to play new champions, which is why you see the Jace, the Kennen going top lane instead of actual champions that can be better utilized. You do see the top turret going down here. Kaisa using the W to take turret aggro so she can die.
Going for a very aggressive stand on the Lantern there, and all Leek had to do is land or put a ward right on that Lantern. That would have negated the whole thing. Yeah, not quite going to find anything there. And Killer Instinct is going to try to find Zyzo. Persei QQ coming off with the flank, and Toxicam getting a killing spree off on a Zyzo. That's going to result in Leek going down as well, and Tokushiro is getting hit by the death sentence, and that's going to be a huge shockwave coming out from Veselheim, but no damage is going to follow up from it. That's going to be another kill for this Fiora. Tokushiro falling down and trying to find even more, going so very aggressive. It's going to be a kill for Veselheim on the Orianna, falling to that Ignite.
Right, there's no way you guys don't go for the Baron here. You guys have a Kaisa. You guys killed 3 of them. They have no smite up. You guys go for the Baron here, right?
In a perfect world, maybe. Not that I know Trump wants to go for it. You know, he's standing on the plane. He's like, team, let's do something. But he zoomed.
Oh my god, they're pinging mid tower.
Yep.
Holy shit, they actually.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with either team, just trying to avoid Baron like the plague, but they're trying to prioritize breaking open this mid lane turret. It'd be their second turret of the game, and meanwhile, Shawarang is trying to pick up 9-line climb wall. Not a very good ult, but the Lantern comes in. It's right into Leek's face. Gets rooted, or Nova gets rooted up by the Jin, and Curtain Call does come out, and a lot of damage is going to go on to Shawarang. It's going to be him falling to Bezelheim, and 9-line climb going very far forward at the Proto Belt, and is going to get the stun off on Nova. It's going to be a second kill, a double kill
now,
for Bezelheim.
ReBrand, you guys just killed 2 of them. What neutral objective is up on the map that you should go and get? Beautiful. You guys do rotate to the Baron. This is what you should get. This puts you back into the game. Now, you... Alright, God bless. Each team seems to be playing a game of catch with their father, where they're trying to see how many times they can throw the game back and forth. It's really beautiful to watch, because it just makes a game that should have been over 3 minutes ago just go on much, much longer. It's actually really painful to watch. It's awful.
Yeah, not only are they going to get this Baron, they're going to get it uncontested. All the members that are up on P5 right now aren't even looking towards it, so that's going to be 5 of the members of ReBrand picking up that Baron.
Yeah, P5 says, it's okay though, we got the mid tower, we wanted to make sure we got that. Zach goes and dies off in no man's land with Baron up, so that's genius. Who needs Smite when there's a neutral objective? Your Fiora walks bot lane, she pushes the lane out, but guess what? They have Baron recall, so they go and take care of that bot lane. They go and get vision control on Dragon, so now you lose second Infernal, and the game's just impossible to come back from. Even though you have a Kai'Sa who's 404, you just lost your team the game by making 3 bad decisions.
Now, I don't know Trump super well, so what I could be saying right now is hearsay, but I've heard he doesn't have the best of mentalities, and I can imagine right now, if you're 4-0-4 in this Kai'Sa and you've been shitting on the game the entire time, and your team is just losing objective after objective, and now they have, not only are they down 2 dragons with the next one coming up in 40 seconds, but starting to get down in gold, as well as dragons, and now they're starting to pick up more towers on the side of ReBrand. You know, I can't imagine, like, this guy's mental has to be going boom at some point. You know, you're losing to a 1-3 Zyzo on Jin right now. You know, the guy, he's able to match you in items. They both have 2 items, but even so, I can imagine this to be very frustrating for both the carries right now, being Toxian and Trump, and hopefully they can try to have the right plays from Shawarang and Nova to get the right picks and maybe get a lead back in this game.
Yeah, so P5 actually has a really good strategy. They have top slow pushing, and no one from ReBrand is actually answering it. They have Fiora pushing bot side. They have wave... Oh my... They have wave control in 2 of the 3 lanes.
Oh jeez, Shawarang going very far forward. A slicing Maelstrom is going to land on 2 of the members.
But it's not good
of
because he's a
Paragon
bad
5.
champion. He's going to die as a consequence.
He is going to die as a consequence, but so is the Fiora going down to the Shockwave. Bezelheim picking up another kill in the 4th shot. Coming out from Jin, picking up the double kill right there into the Thresh, and McTrump trying to kite away as much as he can, but Dokashira is so very tanky, and it's going to be so much damage from both Bezelheim and goodness gracious, Zyzo on this Jin, and that's going to be another shutdown, and 15-14, and that's going to be an ace for ReBrand.
And ReBrand will get the second Infernal off of it. Really bad news for P5 if they actually wanted to win this game, which didn't seem like they did with how they're playing, but this really just puts them out of the game, because now you have a 7-4-4 Orianna with a free Rabadon's Death Cap, who's now going to get a second Rabadon's Death Cap on top of it. You also have a Jin who wasn't fed now being put ahead, and then you have a Kennen who, as much as I hate the champion, is now just a massive put on the side, also building a Rabadon's Death Cap. If you build MR, your team wins this game. Zach did opt in for the Knight's Vow for the Kai'Sa, but again, he seems to be dying before it actually becomes useful. So, interesting strategy there.
The way that all started, though, it was really strange how, you know, Nova was starting to get caught out, did get rooted up by the Jin W, and then suddenly, for one reason or another, like, Thresh is fine. Like, no one was going for the Thresh, no one was, you know, trying to start a fight off of that. Shawarang slingshotted in. Like, that guy went very deep into the jungle of ReBrand, and no one else was there with him. It almost seemed like he went in without even saying a single word, not having any communication saying that I'm going in. He kind of just went on a mission by himself. It started this really forced fight, and when you have several members of your team not really aware of what you're doing, and it takes them a few seconds to catch up and actually start to get in there in the fight, and we saw that McTrump wasn't even able to use Killer Instinct until the very end of that fight. You know, you need to be in sync with your team. You can't be going for these, you know, solo plays if you're not some sort of assassin just trying to pick someone off. You know, you're You're playing Zac right now. You're playing Knight's Vow tanky junglers. You need to be with your team, and you need to help them out and not put them in worse situations.
Yeah, we see a 5v4 mid lane. Kennen has no flash.
Right there, though.
They have no way of poking them off tower, though. That's the problem. Instead of picking the Ahri, if you pick like a Zoe, or you pick like a, even if you want to pick the bad champion that chases mid lane.
I don't even think Ahri's the problem. They're not capitalizing on it. We saw that right there with that inner turret as they're sieging it. Bezelheim got hit by a charm. And
no, this is
no,
fine.
but I'm saying though, Zac didn't.
No, you're completely wrong. You're bald.
What?
So Fiora is on inhib tower, right? Kennen gets the back off. They can force a fight here and win this if Zac hits his E, but he missed it like a. Oh my god.
Zac passive is going to go down, and Zyzo trying to see if he can pick up that bouncing grenade and holding down to the force shot while Bezelheim is going to be dominating, finishing off that last kill. And Fiora's recalling in the bot side, so it's not going to be any sort of fast reaction time. Going to cancel and see if he can pick up 9-line Klein. Does go in on it, and going to try to E away, and parry is used there, so Slicing Maelstrom is going to be popped there, and Mertreads does allow him to have the tenacity to be able to break that pretty easily. A lot of lifesteal is coming out from him.
And great Zanya's coming out of the Kennen. Wow.
Yep, not another good Zanya's for sure, but, you know, hitting that last vital.
ReBrand has to back, and they have to, and P5 has to be aware of this, and they have to try and stop the backs, but instead Thrush is just backing. McTrump actually has a brain, stops the Jhin back. That's huge.
It is huge. Kai'Sa does have the Killer Instinct available if he does want to see if he can find one last projectile off on that Jhin while he's recalling. He's going to go on that top side of the bush there, and he's going very far back, all the way to Krugs. Doesn't want to get canceled yet again, too. You know, maybe worried about the Thresh chasing him, maybe just going for some farm up in that top side. But as you said, though, with Fiora in this bot side and the amount of pressure that she's creating, you know, I don't think that the rest of the members really needed a recall. Once Klein was dead, you know, she didn't really seem to be going for anything more. So again, it's just these back and forths where you think that ReBrand is in the lead, and then they do something to where P5 has the advantage, and then P5 throws it right back into ReBrand's court, and they just keep going back and forth, and they're allowing this Kai'Sa to continue building items. He does have, you know, he does have a Zeal that he's working towards, you know, more than likely a Runon's. You know, might be something like the Rapid Fire Cannon. We're not going to see a Storm Razor out of her anymore, so we'll see what he starts to go in later items, but we actually see Jhin does finish his double Zeal item, so he has that 75% crit. It's going to really show in these curtain calls if he can actually get these forward shots off one of the squishy members, whether it be Toxscan or Trump. And otherwise, like you said, for most of this game, we are just going to watch Klein and Per Se QQ go back and forth in the side lanes.
Yeah, massive problem with ReBrand being okay with that being that Fiora is now ahead of Kennen, and Kennen not building Morale Nomicon means that the Fiora can just heal up any damage that the AP Kennen deals to her. So she's just going to slowly whittle the Kennen down and slowly get that tower. But we'll see how the Baron fight here goes.
Zyzo's actually going to get landed up by a charm, and is going to be able to flash away. Heals from Fleet Forward and is using that movement speed to get away, but here comes the curtain call. Shara very low, and here comes Per Se QQ and 9-line Klein. Slicing Maelstrom is going to come out, and the Protobelt is going to finish off Shara, and they're trying to pick up more kills. Nova is looking on the last end of that and going to get Chilling Smited up, and Death Sentence is only going to buy him half a second, not even, before Bezelheim is legendary. And now, even though they're kind of dancing around that Baron, not sure if they should start it, now's the opportunity. 3 members of P5 down is going to be your best bet.
Yeah, so by the time Fiora completes her TP, the Baron fight is gone, or at least done and over with. She could have just stayed bot, got an inhib. It's not an ideal trigger, there's at least pressure there to deal with. Instead, she opts to TP with the Kennen into a lost team fight. Just overall poor, and she goes back bot for no reason. It's nice. Just get the dragon back, get the Kai'Sa the red. You win through this Kai'Sa. You need to do everything as fast as possible with her.
Yeah, Trump, despite the lead he has, you know, he's not being put in the position that his team is not allowing him to be given the opportunities to actually utilize the, you know, 4-0 lead that he had. Right now, he's still 4-1-5, even though those kills had happened on so early on in the game. And we see him with a pretty big CS lead over Zyzo, having 40 CS up on him, does secure that red for the next fight. And otherwise, I mean, you see this 10-4 Bezelheim Orianna right now is able, just even with, he doesn't even have to land a Shockwave. If he can do just a QW, it doesn't matter if it's on Toxicam, McTrump, or anyone. Or I can't say anyone, I think just mostly those two. I think even with Maul and Malmortius coming out from the Fiora as well as her Mertreads, I think she can survive a good amount of that Orianna burst. But both of the squishies at P5, if they allow themselves to, again, not even Shockwave, just the simple command and Dissonance to be able to pick up just a huge... It'll take Trump to half health at least. And we're seeing the rest of the members of ReBrand actually going on the bot side while Fiora's up in the top. No teleport, though.
She is getting pinged to continue going for the tier 2 to try and push against a 5v4 Baron. Can't wait to see how this fight gets P5 killed and eventually losing the game. It's an inevitability that I'm sure is about to come true in about 30 seconds when you get the ball into the alley and he just flashed WQs.
And not only does ReBrand have so much damage, but they're actually he held a death sentence. Besselheim is going to get hooked up, but Besselheim is legendary. Shararang is able to land the knock of the slingshot. 3 members going with him with Zoltan. McTrump is almost down to 9-line Klein alone, and McTrump actually finishes off one more auto. Stopwatch is going to buy him a second, but... Ooh, actually, it is a great stopwatch. He does manage to get out of that curtain call in time! Managed to get that shutdown to Besselheim, but it's just not going to be enough. 2 members are left remaining on P5. 3 of them are left on ReBrand. I really hope this is the end. They do have Baron buff. They do have this Jhin, but they only have this Jhin for turret damage. They're trying to take out this inhib turret. Forshaw is going to finish off that first one, but here's Fiora. Can they set something up with this Zac? Slingshot's available, and here he comes. That parry isn't going to land on anything, and Zyzo getting very low, getting knocked up, and so much crowd control. It's going to be a shutdown for the Fiora, taking out Zyzo, but getting stunned up there by Tokushiro, and passive is going to go down on Zac, but here comes Thresh to see what time he can buy the rest of the team. Lantern is coming in. Death Sentence is as well. Leek is going to be able to take down Shararang, but here comes Toxan picking up the kill on Leek. Spirit rushes forward, and that is going to be his 8th kill of the game, but taking 1 inhib turret down and 2 inhibs. It's not looking good for Paragon 5.
What a great game of League of Legends we have the complete displeasure of watching. So you have P5 pinging their top laner to continue the split push against a 5v4 Baron. You have the Thresh step forward and actually hook to engage a fight in a 5v4 against Baron, expecting to win it somehow. Now, McTrump did as best as he could to draw the fight out, and he did end up killing the Orianna after killing the Kennen, I believe. So when you kill those...
Okay, see, hold on. I'm going to mention that. You've been shit-talking people like Klein's Zonia's Hourglass all game, and we finally see, because, obviously you're not going to see the Zonias on Trump unless he actually goes a more AP build, but that that's probably one of the better stopwatch usages I've seen. We sit there and we're like, oh, everyone's surrounding him, he's just going to straight up die in the end, and flashes out of that curtain call range and picking up a kill in a situation where he's like guaranteed dead. I think it's, pretty damn good for, being on the losing side of things.
Oh my fucking god.
Shararang looking to in for that blue buff, wants it so bad, and Tokushiro is so very tanky, he doesn't take any damage whatsoever. That's going to result in the Zac flashing away, not having passive means he doesn't have his safety net.
Oh, here we see P5 pinging the Fiora at the halfway point in lane. We'll see how they engage this fight and lose the game here again. I fully anticipate the engage coming in about 15 seconds in the exact same way it came at the bot tower. Where's the Thresh hook? Where's the Thresh hook?
Yeah, the side of P5 just really can't do anything.
You're just sacking your inhibitor for fun to get nothing. Okay. It's a bold strategy. We'll see how P5 actually plans on winning with that trade.
Yeah, it's going to be the second inhib down for the game, but Fiora's off on the bottom side, does manage to get that bot tower, and he's trying his heart out with these Sheen procs to get this last turret, or excuse me, this first inhib of the game for him, if they can...
Dying to
minions, life stealing just the slightest bit, all she ever needs, and here comes Tokushiro, Glacial Prison isn't going to land yet again, and you see the 2 members actually walking out from that, and again, that's going to be 2 inhibs on the side of Paragon 5, but we do need to keep in mind that we do see the Guardian Angel finish on the Kai'Sa. It does have her Runons to clear these waves, as well as the Yari that is able to clear them with Q. Ravenous Hydra on the Fiora is a good amount of AoE as well, but having 2 inhibs down, Baron's going to be coming up in about a minute. Next dragon up in about 10 seconds, and it's going to be that Elder Dragon. So, if they could potentially, if they wanted to brute force an end here, they'd have the Kennen with teleport. They could send him to a side lane while, do the 4-1 that you had talked about in one of the previous games. But instead, they were just going to prolong this game, and they're going to risk this Elder Dragon, which I would say has a chance of being taken, but...
The 50-50 Elder Dragon. No way this goes wrong.
I would say 50-50, but Shararang just backs, not going to be any contest. They don't even have vision on it. It's completely blind.
What is P5 not press the tab button 6 fucking minutes? They know the dragon was going to be up?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they just decided to call everything off, if they just want to play safer, but that's a free Elder Dragon for ReBrand, and now they're looking towards Baron.
Yeah, so P5 having all of them having their tab button broken, not knowing when Dragon was going to be spawning, wondering why they're losing the game. They just have sacked every neutral objective, and I don't see how they plan on winning the game. I'm sorry. Now all ReBrand has to do is just, honestly, you could just 5-man mid. You have sidewaves pushing, they'll push in at the exact same time, and then you can just force down the mid tower because they just P5, their favorite pastime is just giving away stuff for free.
It's pretty aggravating that these games are going to 40 minutes every time, because again, these games, had people had the macro and rotation knowledge, that these games could be over in 20 minutes. A lot of the things that you've been saying just all throughout the rest of these series, not utilizing Rift Herald to pick up early turret platings, not going for Baron when they have such easy opportunities to take them. These games are going to 40 minutes and they don't really need to. You're allowing everyone to get to 6 items, because right now, gold does not matter, right? Like, if everybody has 6 items, or, 5 or 6 items, getting close to end game, all it takes is one team fight to go poorly, but you can't really see that happening with a Baroned up Elder Dragon. They're taking their 3rd inhib of the game. Fiora, yet again, MIA. Gonna have to do a 5 times report.
Oh my gosh.
That's gonna be the last Nexus turret, and we see Zach going in. Slicing Maelstrom is gonna be popped, and Nova is stunned up. Tokushiro is so very tanky, taking up all the damage he can here on the front line, and McTrump doing negligible damage to the front line of ReBrand, and that's going to be a victory after Game 3 of almost 3 40-minute games. We didn't know which way it was going to go, but ReBrand, debatable, like in terms of earning a victory, it's a debatable term, but they got the win. I guess that's what matters, or at least for this series, I suppose.
Holy shit, I can't believe. So Fiora was bot lane until she decided to try and TP to a tower last second there. Problem with that is that tower went down in a matter of seconds, about as quick as their hopes of winning the game did. And then she tried to back, but she didn't even get the back off in time. They P5 didn't even try and team fight to save their Nexus. They just kind of handed over to the mugger, begging for their lives in return and for just some sort of mercy. But God, that game was just awful to watch.
I think that series as a whole, in terms of just individual macro play and just like as the teams were, you saw a lot of miscommunication by both sides. I don't think either team is free of guilt from this game for sure. But again, all it took, Bezel was able to perform very well, died less than we saw him throughout the series, was able to do more damage than anyone else in the game on this utility mid lane, did pump out that 30k damage. Zyzo and Leek, again, Zyzo had a few close calls. He had like just very, very close calls, and if it wasn't for just the very basic lifesteal from Bloodline and Fleet Footwork, there were times where I saw like he was 100% dead, had Ignite ticking on or anything like that, was just barely able to scrape by, and then he'd run away with a super fast movement so he can open up a curtain call and pick up like 2 kills. It was absolutely ridiculous that they were able to get away with something like that. And I think Tokushiro, when people always compare the junglers, the whole better jungler wins type of thing, but Tokushiro, I think when it comes to frontline tanky engaged champions, we didn't see him landing as many glacial prisons as we'd like. We saw a lot of them going wide, but he is able to, we saw just so tanky. You can sit in the members, or inside the members of all Paragon 5, even a 4-0 Kai'Sa, McTrump just isn't able to even tickle this poor guy. So, again, go ahead.
Trump wasn't being enabled by his team,
Mm-hmm.
and I hate to point out a single player who let the team down, but Toxican losing the Ahri into Orianna matchup can just not happen. The moment that happened, the game just becomes immensely more difficult, because you pick Ahri into Orianna, anticipating Orianna not hitting her ultimates, but Ahri just walked into them like she was lost in the forest, and oh my god, my head hurts.
He was so very scared, and even just like at the end of the game here, we see 38 minutes in, Bezelheim's level 18 as well as Klein, and the only person I should say on Paragon is per se QQ that does have the level 18, but otherwise we're seeing, I couldn't see how big that level lead was towards the end, but Toxian even just finishing 16, finishing 2 levels down, as you said, that is a significant difference, and it just, again, you can have, your KDA looks great, like that's cool and stuff like that, looks like you did well, but score doesn't matter in these competitive games. It matters about the impact you can make, and if you're cowering under your tower versus something like an Orianna that, again, isn't even taking off very early, as the earliest stages for the Orianna is early game. So if you're getting beat your ass by an Orianna early game, it's only uphill for her. It was just the easiest game for Bezelheim. He landed many, many good shockwaves, and I think that I don't think any of them were like certainly game changing, but they very much helped in getting that game to the victory that they needed to. And I think that 9-line Klein, even though he was able to apply so much pressure in the laning phase versus the Fiora, as you said, I don't think the Kennen pick was like the most useful. He did deal a decent amount of damage towards the end there, and even something like the Jhin wasn't, or both AD carries pretty much had very low damage compared to the mages. But otherwise, I think it was. I don't think this was actually the better team wins. I think this was the worst team loses in this situation. I think both teams, again, I don't want to single out like any sort of players or anything like that, but I think just all 10 members at some point in this series that like they were just turning their brains off. They just had plays that were just like, what is your thought process here? Why are you in this position? Who's deciding to make this play? You kind of wonder at certain times who's the shot caller and who's making these decisions, because like you said, people are going for mid lane outer turret when they can go for Baron. Like, who's the one that is being vocal in these in this series that is saying, hey, let's go for a turret instead of a massive global objective? So I think when it comes to these teams and they review these games, they really need to. I think both teams. I don't think either or any of these games should have lasted 40 minutes. I think they all should have been 25 minutes. Like each team, for the games that each respective one won, they could have been closed out so much sooner.
Yeah, so games could have been closed out sooner, as well as pick ban being better. Silas getting picked and losing the game 1 and 2 is very indicative of how bad of a champion that is when you only see 3 champions on the other team. That's thing number 1. Thing number 2, not a single team picked an actual aggressive early game jungler when there's clear lane advantages in certain lanes. Like, why P5 didn't pick an aggressive early jungler to get their bot lane ahead is a complete shock to me. And why ReBrand why ReBrand didn't pick an aggressive jungler to get the Kennen farther ahead than the Fiora than he was himself is a complete question to me. It's just, it was not a fun game to watch. I've casted like plenty of great games in the SFL, and I love a lot of the individual players. I love, League, Zyzo, Bezelheim, and I can't say I've really even talked to any of the others, but there's guys in here that I know are, just great individual players, and it just, there's so many just very basic hiccups. But, it was very good for ReBrand to be able to pick up, just the pace in the end, and I think that AoE team fight, that I think a lot of Tokushiro, the way he was, both Tokushiro and Leak actually, I think they made a massive amount of difference with the front line they were able to apply. Just, the crowd control after crowd control does allow Zyzo, does allow Bezelheim and Klein as well, I guess, to, be able to deal a huge amount of damage. And someone like Shaorang, even though he's playing the same role, he's playing that, tanky frontline jungler, we didn't see him, there weren't many good, we saw maybe one good Zackle, I think, and so many times, he was sitting in bushes that were warded. He was going for lanes that, in the bot lane there, we saw that, Zyzo and Leak did a very, very good job of being able to sniff out when the Zac was there, because you can probably tell, by the way they're playing, you're like, okay, the Kaizen Thresh are pretty much in front of their minion wave at this point. They're like, you could just tell how aggressive they're playing. There has to be someone here, whether it's the mid lane or the jungler. I see the mid laner mid, so Zac has to be here. And it was just so very telegraphed so many times. And, we saw probably the most successful ganks for Shaorang was mid lane with Toxican. And even with the kills that they were able to pick up, again, Toxican was 8-4, but Bezelheim was just, I think both Bezelheim and Tokushiro, with just the amount of utility and just raw damage that this Orianna was able to pump out, I think it, was just such a big difference. And again, the AoE coming out from Kennen, just having that Kennen on your team, even if it is maybe a less than desirable pick, it still is an AoE stun. If you do, if you pick off the right people. We did see a 3-man stun at one point, even though I don't think anyone was around for that slicing maelstrom, but it's beneficial to have in your team nonetheless. And again, I think as sloppy as the series was, I still think that, it was well played by ReBrand. I think Paragon 5 had a chance. I think a few of the individual members were playing better than others. And it was kind of frustrating to see. I think the Fiora, I think that third game, I don't think that Fiora really cared from the beginning. That Fiora was blind, mute, and deaf.
Yeah, I think he was just, there was a lot of willful ignorance that played into that. And I don't think he wanted his team to succeed, whether or not he would actually admit it. Because again, you're sitting bot lane the entire time while all the members of ReBrand are, they're actually grouping up and they're doing their best to actually take these objectives and start these team fights. And Yeah, you were able to get the bot lane inhib. That's great. You're using that split push advantage that you have with the Fiori. Not even the Kennen is able to match her, but is it worth it?
That's the question you're gonna ask.
It's a rhetorical question.
How about at the end there, where she's bot lane halfway, you have ReBrand with Elder and Baron pressing on your mid-tier, your mid inhibitor tower, and your idea is to stay bot lane. She actually threw the game. I don't care what anyone says. I need to see that Fiori's bank account. There's no way that person was not paid to throw.
Yeah, it was again. I think it was a lot of mistakes, but I think overall ReBrand, especially in those last few team fights, they were picking up their slack a little bit, and I think it was pretty well deserved. But otherwise, I think we could actually sit here and talk about that series all goddamn night because it was just that much of an absolute North American clusterfuck. But I think it is just about time for us to sign out. It being 1 a.m., I can't imagine too many people are even still up watching the series. But for those that still are in here, that were listening to the ramblings of me and Coyote, thank you so much for watching. And I think, there's no more games tonight, but for tomorrow, it being Saturday, there's going to be the series of BB Clocks versus the Mateos. I believe that's how it's pronounced, at 6 o'clock Eastern. And also there's going to be Blizzard versus Wasted Potential, which I think is probably a bit more exciting series. And I guess, according to the schedule, I'm casting both of them, so yeehaw. I don't know who's going to be with me for either one, but one's going to be at 6 o'clock, and the Blizzard and Wasted Potential match is going to be at 10 o'clock. So 2 games tomorrow. And then on Sunday, it's also going to be the Mateos playing yet again, but they're going to be playing against U.S. Army Esports, and that's going to be at 9 o'clock. And if you liked the game knowledge, and if you liked the analytical casting of Inconspicuous, a.k.a. Coyote, a.k.a. the most reformed top laner I've yet to ever witness, he will be playing with the Rats versus Paragon 5 at 8 o'clock Eastern on Sunday. So if you want to see that...
Boy. More great macro.
Or rather, actually, you're playing Saturday as well, but the Sunday game is being streamed. So if you want to watch Coyote on the big screen, that'll be your opportunity. See if he can live up to the big hype of all his talk and his game knowledge and how reformed he is.
My game knowledge is equal to that of a toddler, but yes.
Yeah, so either way, it was a pleasure casting with you. And again, for anyone still watching, thank you so much for watching. And that's just about it. So that is going to be the well-played Game 3 by ReBrand to finish out that series 2-1 versus Paragon 5. And otherwise, you have anything else, Coyote? Do you got any other smart-ass comments to throw our way?
I never want to have to cast a series like this ever again. That was an absolute displeasure.
All right, that's understandable. So we'll get you for one of the spicier series. How about that? Even one of the fucking series that I hope would be better is probably still going to be that much of a fiesta. But
I'll cast my own series.
There you go. All right, so from game, you'll be able to just mute the rest of your team, say fuck them, and you'll cast as it's going live. I think that's the best way.
We don't communicate anyways.
I
sit in the caster.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think bong rips from the staker is considered communication, but either way, again.
No. He sneaks in words. I know.
Oh, he sneaks them in. I see.
Based on how the water boils, I know what he's trying to say.
So it's kind of like Morse code. I see. Okay. Well, either way, enough talk about that. Again, thank you so much for watching, and that's just about it for this Sugar-Free League stream. So tune in, I should say, for tomorrow's game and Sunday's game. So, have a great night, guys.